Hello and welcome to Week 6 Challenger action on the Smite Draft League. I am Anthony Malum. I have KingFsher with me as my chair. Let's talk P's and B's.
Yeah, and already I'm gonna be really excited to see what is gonna switch up between this picks and bans. Obviously, we just had a really big update came through, but surprisingly, they changed the items around a lot more than they did the gods. I don't think there's been a ton of god nerfs. I think the Morrigan doing a lot less damage to minions is the only thing that kind of comes to mind. But most of the gods got buffed, so I think we can see some interesting picks here if they're reading up on their patch notes.
Yeah, I think something that I'd be hoping to see, if not in this set, then a set in the future for this upcoming weekend, is I want to see more Chronos. I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of Chronos this season so far. I feel like as minuscule or big as that buff might seem, however you decide to take it or however you felt like Chronos was, I feel like whenever Chronos is valid in a meta, it's a fun meta.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I mean, Kronos got buffed and Kronos Pendant got buffed. I think maybe there's a chance we see both in the same build. But I think also a really big buff that I don't know a ton of people have been talking about. Scylla's Crush now doing an extra 20% damage to the minion wave is insane. That's going to boost her clear potential. And it was already insanely high, even at base ranks. So I think Scylla is definitely going to be a mid laner to watch for in these coming weeks.
Yeah, and in this set in particular, I could definitely see PFShawn trying to
Oh, yeah.
snag himself a Scylla. We've basically seen him play Scylla, Vulcan, or Agni so far this season. So I'm assuming it'll be one of the above. Hades gets locked in. Gear Chief has put in some work on this Hades so far this year.
He definitely has, and I think we can rule that one out from the mid lane. PFShawn does play a pretty limited number of gods. I'm not doubting the god pool at all, but I mean, if he does good on the gods, no reason to force him off. And Gear Chief, speaking of force him off, has done really good in the Hades solo. In the few sets we've seen, I know I'm normally not one that loves the solo laners building full damage, but if it works, it's hard to knock it, and it has worked nearly every time.
Yeah, and like you said, Sean does have a limited god pool. Harbingers has certainly made it work so far between swapping out Sean and Gabba at times, or just really playing to Sean and Gabba's strengths when they do get their preferred characters. So they've made it work so far. But the last time we saw Harbingers, it was on against the Sugar Babies on this previous Sunday. And you made a comment that I've been thinking about when it comes to Harbingers, that they really haven't played a game yet where they've been on the back foot and they've had to play defense and play from behind. We still haven't seen it happen. So I'm curious if we are going to see that happen before playoffs, because honestly, I'd almost want that to happen if I'm Harbingers before we get to the playoffs, because if they're number 1 seed, they're going to have things to prove. They're going to have Everybody's going to have a target aimed for them, so they got to know how to play like that now.
Yeah, they definitely do, but I mean, looking at the draft, I don't see anything that's gonna be suggesting they're gonna be behind.
Yeah, very
Hades,
true.
Dodgy, Vulcan, it feels like they run this comp at least once a week, and they still get it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I know we talk about meta bans versus comfort bans. It doesn't matter if they're not meta. The Hades and the Vulcan have to go when you're facing this team. But on the flip side, it's an Ishtar, and that's one of the ADCs that's been really rising in popularity lately. I think a lot of people are starting to get used to how she duels with the other hunters and the raw utility that that ultimate provides in 1v1s.
Yeah, and I think we've seen Destroyer do quite good recently in sets. So assuming everything stays the way we've seen, and that's where Ishtar goes is into the dual lane piloted by the Destroyer, could be strong. Going back to Harbingers though, you talked about comfort banning. Daji has, I feel like Akamaru has played Daji in every set this season, and it somehow gets through bans every time. We see it get banned in other sets, but never against Akamaru. He almost always gets that character.
I was gonna say, and that's kind of funny to me because I think it perfectly fits comfort and meta. Dodgy, one of the
Yeah.
top junglers right now, in my opinion. I think pretty widely held opinion. And yeah, maybe a little bit of disrespect thrown Akamaru's way. I mean, consistently, like goes 10 and 2, 11 and 3. So really good stat lines, but still not being taken away. On the flip side, though, Thor, if that is the jungler and not the solo laner, that's going to be a really interesting jungle matchup.
Yeah, and we do talk about it making it through. Maybe that was part of the plan for small town. Maybe that's how they want to run it. Maybe they're like, let's guarantee that we know the jungle we're going against. Let's get mobility, let's get CC immunity, and let's try to play around it because we can expect it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I don't think small town girls are doing it, but they could also be using this first game as kind of a test. We see it sometimes in SPL and just sometimes I think in larger game sets where if you concede one, if you try out a different comp, something you haven't done before, just to get a feel for the game, see if you can beat them. I mean, they've seen this a lot from the enemy team. I assume they're watching VODs and stuff to prepare. So if so, they could just be going with a off strategy, maybe letting them get those comfort picks because they've got something that they think is going to win it. And I mean, there's a lot of CC immunity on this team. They are definitely equipped to deal with the Hades and the Dodgy.
Agreed. And with the Terra coming out, I feel like that sets up this team as well. Terra has such a good ability to lock people down, and you can lock them down for Ishtar damage, for Yu Huang to blow them up, for Thor to dunk on them. A lot of setup just from one character alone. And Terra really can help. You can't really out rotate Daji if you're Terra, but you can definitely show up in perfect timing to help out. Not to mention, Terra kind of doesn't care about Vulcan.
Yeah, that's true. And I think also the ultimate from Terra is going to do so much in terms of damage mitigation. I think
For
we've
sure.
already talked about the CC immunity that's on that team, but a lot of them, I think Thor pretty mobile. Ishtar though, the dash is really predictable. Yu Huang, you know where he's going to land. So for Vulcan, theoretically, it should be not easy, but not too hard to land those big damage abilities. And this is a strong draft from Harbingers,
Yeah, it
finishing it
is.
out with the Charybdis Ganesh. I was gonna say, I know we talked about comfort meta picks and bans, but it seems like they may have slipped up a little bit with the bans.
And with the Raven coming out, it looks like that might potentially be a Thor solo going the route of SPL and a Raven jungle. But we'll have to see. We'll meet you in game number 1. Harbingers looks to continue their undefeated streak and head into the playoffs as number 1 seed. But Small Town Girls came into this game with a plan. Can they make it work? I'm Anthony Malum. He's KingFsher. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I mean, the plan has got to be solid. Also, before we do go further in, I got to point out, Destroyer, if you don't build your starter item first next time, so unsatisfying. But hopefully that does get fixed later on. I mean, just sell the starter. You can buy another
Yeah,
one.
just restart.
I was gonna say, I think it's interesting though. I'd really like to see if we get some gilded arrows as starts from hunters. They got
Ooh.
a pretty decent buff, but I think the Death Toll is just so entrenched that it's not gonna happen. And Lucent going for the purple invade and gets it. The absolute mad lad. Small town
Lucent
girls.
setting me up to talk about something important. Invader's Curse is currently Not cursing at the moment, but for fun, we're letting everybody invade, so expect to see a lot of that, not just in this set, but pretty much everything week 6.
Yeah, we're a cool league like that. And I think the beads in Aegis too have been fixed, so we can see those relics together. I think in the past weeks it's been really interesting seeing what relic combos the ADCs come up with, but I'd expect it is back to the boring. This Gear Chief now dropping low and doesn't have lifesteal yet. Normally we see Hades go that Bancroft Claw first item. Did get a slight nerf, so maybe steering away from that in this patch.
Big fight over the totem, but aside from the totem itself, doesn't lead to too much brawling. The big brawling is currently in the duo lane. Destroyer and Lucent both starting to take some damage and got to play it safe, and they are separated. Lucent still level 1, but no punishment comes his way. He's good for now.
Yeah, gonna be able to stay alive, and luckily does not have to use... Oh, actually, started with beads. We have seen a lot of magic shell on supports. I think that's kind of the meta start. I definitely don't hate the beads, though. Terra, I think the only god without really good CC immunity from the Small Town Girls team. So getting out of the Ganesh, the Hades, Adachi, definitely the right move, I think, from the Terra. One thing we weren't able to talk about on the desk, I'm really interested to see how Man's doing this patch as BurpleNurple drops low. BurpleNurple to the grave.
Akamaru picks up the first blood for Harbingers, picking up right where they left off in their last set. Sean now falling quite low. Tragic trying to see if he can pick it up, but Sean is not quite in the positioning for it to happen. Lucky so far, Gear Chief falling low in solo, Sean falling low in mid. Everybody's getting low everywhere. Who's going to get the kill out of all these low health bars is the question. Stun comes out onto Ninjas in the duo lane. Still alive, though. Going to take perfect basics, but they're not quite there. Gear Chief low in solo, but so is Terminator. But neither have enough for the kill. Everybody's low in every lane, but nobody can confirm any of these kills.
We need to get these teams to chill out. It's just action all over. Could have, I think, been a pretty easy second blood there in duo, but it looks like a slight bit of miscommunication between Destroyer and Lucent. That Ishtar was trying to burst down the Charybdis while Lucent was looking at the Ganesh, so maybe a fumbled opportunity there, but the Small Town Girls duo lane is still in the lead off the back of that purple invade. I think I was saying before we got cut off from all the fighting across the map, the mage builds have been shaken up a ton in this update. We saw nerfs to late game items like Ob Shard and Staff of Mirrodin. Now Chronos Pendant and Soul Gem in particular got an incredible buff, having less stacks to proc that. So it's going to be really interesting how we see these mids itemize. I'd expect to see something really different than we normally do.
Yeah, and mid lane has been the difference maker in so many sets this season in SDL. The Whirlpool enough to get away there for ZTan. Then I'm curious if it's going to be more of the same with these changes, or if we might see maybe Solo start picking it up more, because for Harbingers in particular, if Solo starts to be a problem, Terminator is such a talented, mechanically gifted soul laner, could be dangerous. Earthshaker not enough. Don't you know what Yuhong can do? Very safe for now from the ult of Sean. Good try, though.
Did get the wave though, so ultimate not wasted, as we do always love Vulcans and Hoyis ulting their waves. But I think, like you said, it's also going to be cool to see how mid lane is affected. There are a lot of really good mids in this league, and we see them absolutely run games. I think it's going to be a little bit harder for them to snowball with those nerfs to, I think it was Obshard, Staff, and Mirrodin. They're not going to be swinging nearly as hard come late game, and it's going to be easier for the lane counterpart to match up with them. Ooh. For that reason, I think it's going to be more equal as Sean drops in the mid lane by the tier 1 tower.
BurpleNurple used the blink on that Robin to pick up the kill on Sean in mid, and he has fallen. Tough break for the Vulcan. Just got back to lane 2, so going to lose a bit of farm. Solo lane, Gear Chief down to half. The Terminator doesn't have enough to get the kill right now. Has to back up. Checking in on duo lane. Still our normal brawling, but everybody's healthy enough that nobody can fully commit. Thor ultimate down on the Gear Chief. Big damage coming out and quickly. BurpleNurple not quite there for the follow-up, though. And Gear Chief is safe for now, unless he steps just ever so slightly too far. But Akamaru is there, going to turn into a blue invade. But it's dropping quick. Gear Chief secures it. No steal for BurpleNurple, so the gank was unsuccessful.
Yeah, and I like seeing the discipline there from Gear Chief. A lot of times when Hades gets under pressure, we can kind of see them panicle just to try and sustain up a little bit more. But definitely good knowledge knowing Terminator didn't have any CC, and with the dodgy right by, doesn't waste ult. And no beads to burn either, as gets back under tower safely. But now I think the question is, where does the aggression go? I know we've seen a lot. Ooh, it's on a solo lane. Terminator, though, gets away fine, too.
Thank goodness for Terminator. He had that hammer to teleport to, or it would have been a solo kill. But fine for now, gonna play it safe and see if he can simply secure his blue buff. You know, it's so tough playing against Hades. You get caught out and all of a sudden you just lose your entire health bar.
Yeah, it is, and it's a really weird feeling to go up against too. You're just kind of like, oh, I got wave, I can do this. Ooh, Terminator gets out of range, does not keep the blue though. Can Gear Chief land the ult?
Can only land the silence. Like you said,
no,
the
he
minions
doesn't
got
have
in the
ult.
way.
Sorry, my mistake. He might be going back to the grave though.
Yeah, BurpleNurple showing up. Lucid not far behind either. Terminator maybe backing with a bait. Walks out of it. Gear Chief might be caught. Dash is good. Ultimate from Robin slams down. Gear Chief not taking a lot of damage, but going to take enough now. Falls to TragicFox in the solo lane. Successful gank from Small Town Girls, no matter how much they committed to it.
Yeah, and if I'm Harbingers, recognizing that 4-person gank, I'm running straight into left lane and taking those red and purple buffs. Sorry, forgot how to say colors for a second there. But they're not. They're just going to try to shove this mid wave. PFShawn, I think, might gain a little bit of XP over TragicFox. TragicFox might get the kill, misses the ult.
Big shell there from Flippin' Ninjas. Probably was enough to keep Shawn safe. We'll see if Burple decides to get any crazy ideas. But with Akamaru right there, probably won't. Matter of fact, he might be caught out now. Everybody's around. He does not have ult. He used it in the last fight. Down a half already. Should be an easy kill for Akamaru. There's a dash, though. The overhead kick got it, but the ultimate will secure it for Akamaru. BurpleNurple falls.
Yeah, definitely didn't need to ult there from the dodgy, but maybe just wanted the XP from the kill, as now will go up a level on the Robin. Can't really fault that. Good stun from Destroyer is going to force ZTantalus off the wave. And I think we've talked a lot about ZTantalus lately. Definitely has emerged as one of the top ADCs, so anything Destroyer can do to keep him in check, definitely the right move.
We do have a pause coming out, as you can see from this fantastic screen grab from our own cameraman iNooblet. So we'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. We've got our new logo, and it was that Thor pause, but not quite enough for the kill, despite the pause. Gear Chief did take a lot of damage from it, though. Did not get quite back to his keyword right away. Might work out bad for Terminator. Has to use the Thor ultimate to get away. Gonna be good. The hammer was enough for now.
The range on that Thorol never ceases to surprise me. I don't know why I don't think it's like semi-global when I think about it. But that man just went across the entire lane. Good knowledge here from Terminator channeling it early enough not to get punished. Now Ishtar doesn't find a stun. Good.
Underneath the tower, doesn't matter. It's a solo kill for Destroyer, taking out ZTan. Tough break for the captain of Harbingers there.
Yeah, really good kill there. Unfortunately, that Charybdis ult does lock you in place, so subjecting yourself to a lot of damage. Not able to be made up, and now Gear Chief in trouble. Massive sustain, though.
18 people once again in the solo lane for Gear Chief, and once again, he will not be able to get away. Going to fall. This time, Lucent gets the kill, so he'll be able to get his next support item online quicker. Another gank for the solo lane for Small Town Girls gets them their 4th kill of the game.
Ooh, yeah, and speaking of Lucent, next item, could this be the magical Fae-blessed hoops? I think Terra can use Fae-blessed hoops and the Manticore spikes both really efficiently, so I wouldn't even hate seeing him build both, but given he went Lotus Crown, I think I would definitely go Manticore spikes here. I think it has a little bit more protection, and you don't really need that extra healing if you have the Lotus.
Fun fact, I knew it was Fae-blessed hoops not because of the item he's building into, but because of the beads of sweat on your forehead. Gold Fury being pulled by Harbinger, Small Town showing up to contest it. Lucent gets the Monolith out, but gets silenced from dashing. Earthshaker, Small Town Girls gets the steal of the Gold Fury. Flippin' Ninja's falling low too. Lucent low in the back. BurpleNurple has found Flippin' Ninjas. Support for support, is it? It is. Akamaru gets a kill onto Lucent. Has to play it safe though. Yu Huang's doing numbers. BurpleNurple gets a kill on Akamaru, make it a double kill. Destroyer low, trying to position well enough that Shawn can't get to him. PFShawn gets caught out, TragicFox gets the kill, and now it's ZTan, the lone man, against Small Town Girls. The question is, can he get away? Not quite yet. Whirlpool comes out, but he took some serious damage before he got in that Whirlpool. Ultimate from Ravana. The Maw hungers for the grave. ZTan falls.
Yeah, and really, really solid team fight there from Small Town Girls. Unfortunately, that Vulcan ult from PFShawn was not able to secure the Gold Fury. But more important than the Gold Fury, they lose their entire team. And I don't think... Oh gosh, I could be wrong. I don't think anybody even died.
No.
Did Lucent die?
Not again. I don't believe Lucent died, but I know who is about to die, and it's Gear Chief again. The police are here in the solo lane, but Gear Chief slightly tankier than last time, gave some time for his team to get there, but still not quite enough. The 3rd death for Gear Chief in the solo lane. He cannot catch a break this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, only a little bit of added health from that staff, and I think this is the one gripe I always have with the full damage solo laners. I mean, if you're ahead, it feels great, and you do so much for your team, so much utility, just limitless pressure. But unfortunately, when you're behind, you kind of just get dove on, and you can't do much about it without defense. Not as much survivability there as you might expect from the Hades. I think that double assassin comp truly counters the solo laner a little bit, unfortunately for Gear Chief.
Gonna lose his blue buff too, make it insult to injury. Uses the ultimate, forgot the Thor had the hammer. He gets away. Going back to the Gold Fury though, while we have a moment here, that's becoming an unfortunate theme for Harbingers as well as they've played this season. The secure of objectives has been a consistent problem from week 1 onward, and that's definitely something they need to tidy up as we get closer to the playoffs, because that could become a serious issue for them. The last thing you want to do is be in a playoff game and lose out on a Fire Giant because your ultimate comes too late. Flippin' Ninja's getting there a bit late to help out Gear Chief, or was he just in time? Terminator goes up into the sky, gonna slam down on top of Gear Chief, gets the stun, but Akamaru's here for the return damage, and it's a lot of return damage. Earthshaker follows, was almost good in the prediction, but Terminator gets away. Powwow brings in Lucent though, that'll be the death of the support finally. But Terminator got away. That was almost a really good prediction from Shawn. Almost a really good meatball backfire, but they do get away. Akamaru see if he can get her on the side to clean it up with the dash. Here goes on the Tragic. That'll be enough for the kill. Meatball does not hit Terminator, though. Akamaru gets a kill in the TragicFox. ZTan trying to survive the solo in duo down 3 levels. No can do. He gets soloed by Destroyer. Tough break across the map for everybody.
Yeah, a really a series of events there for both teams, but now Harbingers do answer on to the Pyromancer. And I think back to your earlier point with their objective control, I think specifically from Sean, gotta give him a little bit of a break. I think Vulcan ults are extremely hard to time sometimes, or maybe that's just me.
Sure.
But I think it has been a consistent theme. They, despite having the big damage gods that he likes to play, like the Scylla and the Vulcan, a lot of times we've seen them kind of lose out onto those objectives as Sean loses to his life. No, not though. Gear Chief gets there in time.
Gear Chief is there in time. Meatball was a little far, though, but the backfire hits plenty. BurpleNurple falls for trying to fight Sean all the way under tower. Gear Chief with the nice assist. Sean manages to avoid the slam, now loosens there. Gives Sean a break, but he's still alive. Missing the standing stones as Lucent. Sean's one hit, still safe. Terminator, one hit, not so safe. ZTan gets the kill on to iTerminatorr. Great moves there by Sean.
Yeah, poor Lucent really wanted that kill, but unfortunately, no damage as a support kind of means not a lot of kill pressure. The team went for the Thor instead, as now Destroyer in trouble. Destroyer, is he going to get safe?
Dropping quick, there's the pillars. There was the powwow, still no good. Gear Chief dashes in, but remember, he's not tanky. And the tower does a lot of damage when you're not tanky. Gear Chief falls. Destroyer gets the credit. And now Small Town is chasing away Harbingers after the tough tower dive from Gear Chief.
Yeah, and I like the thought to clean up the kill, but I think at the same time that it doesn't serve too much of a benefit. Even if you get that kill, you die either way with no defense there. I think thought process probably was the Primal Furies coming up. If they don't have their ADC, it gives us a little bit of time to breathe. Small Town Girls now, they're only in the lead a few hundred, but it definitely feels like they have the momentum this game. It's something we talked about on the desk with Harbingers not being behind a whole ton this season. It's going to take something from them to turn it around. They might be knocked off their normal game a little bit.
And you know, a big part of that has been ZTan. Consistently, his numbers in ADC have been absolutely off the charts, but so far this game, it's not been the story. And you can see by the gold charts, it isn't as bad as we're making it out to be, but the field is always different from the charts. It's just such a consistent theme. So I guess we've really just seen what can happen to Harbingers if ZTan and Gear Chief get a bit far behind. Gank from Flippin' Ninjas, 2 ultimates for Destroyer, and no damage is found. Gear Chief diving deep at level 12. That's a pretty big difference. Destroyer is going to do numbers. Everybody from Harbingers is here, probably setting up for the Primal Fury, but that is now 3 ultimates down for Destroyer, who's not even at half health.
Yeah, I think luckily, though, to have 2 really big ults up is Gear Chief able to get away. I mean, we talked about it being inconsistent, but having
the slam from Terminator on the Gear Chief. Earthshaker comes out, though, but it's too far out. Does damage, but not enough. Destroyer kills Akamaru. ZTan gets Destroyer. Terminator gets Sean. 2 members left for Harbingers, only 1 down on Small Town. ZTan uses the beads, but it doesn't matter. BurpleNurple gets the kill onto ZTan. It's just Flippin' Ninja is going to probably have to concede this Primal Fury, but does have the health, but not the ultimate for the steal. We'll see what he can do. He's setting up for it, down to half health. Terminator is boxing him out already. It's going to be a tough play for Ninjas. At this point, he may consider just backing off, but he's falling to half and still committing. They're taking so much damage that they had to let go of the leash. So Flippin' just hanging out might be enough. They're still committed to it, though. Thorwall comes out. Ninja's still hanging around. This man is consistent. He had enough time. His ultimate's up. Small Town does get the Primal Fury, and Ninjas should be able to get away. They let him hang out for so long.
Yeah, and as good as they've been playing this game, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking on that Cold Fury. They still get it, but I mean, the Ganesh's ult was down. That line attack does maybe 200 damage. I don't think they really had to worry about the Ganesh stealing it, but in the end, they get the Gold Fury, they don't die for it, so the result is still the same, just maybe lose themselves a little bit of time.
I can't believe he had enough time for his ultimate to come back up.
It's a little crazy.
He was just hanging out forever. I think he was paying for a lease at the Oracles, but we'll have to check that afterwards. Catching back up on builds, though, has there been any changes in what we saw early on? We do see the Fabless troops were picked up, so I'm sure your knight has been made.
Absolutely has. It could only be better if we see a Kernanos. But I was gonna say it's a lot less switch up than I would expect it to be. I think, especially with mid laners. I think I talked about how good of an item Soul Gem is right now, and maybe they're still gonna pick it up later. They both only have about 20% CDR right now when the Sands of Time gets upgraded, so definitely could see him going that route. But I think the question for me is how they're gonna finish it off now that Obshard is considerably worse.
Pulling the Pyromancer is Small Town Girl. Sean, though, right around the corner. Backfires early. Earthshaker comes out, not in time. Small Town Girls gets the Pyromancer. Gear Chief getting absolutely obliterated by Destroyer. What else can they get? Hammer slams down on Akamaru. Whirlpool came out for ZTan, so he's safe for now, but Akamaru is down below half health. Lucent leads the charge on Flippin, taking quite a bit of damage, though. Has to play it safe. Flippin low. TragicFox gets the kill on the ZTan. BurpleNurple cleans up. Flippin ninjas. Sean and Akamaru are all that's left, but Akamaru is too low to do anything, and Sean will just have to sit and watch as Small Town Girls is controlling the pace of this game, to say the least.
Yeah, and another really rough fight for Harbingers. I mean, credit to them, they do buy enough time to where small town girls have to back before they can afford. I mean, with that Trebuchet pushing right, I'm assuming they're gonna go to the Fire Giant here. I think that'd be the smart call, especially burning that Vulcan ult. You got another 30 seconds or so at least until it comes up, and that is gonna be the play. Speaking of Vulcan ult, I think we need to see PFShawn getting a little bit more impact with those. He didn't hit the players or the Pyro. He hit like a wall in the jungle with that one.
Fire Giant, a little bit above half health. Gear Chief hanging out. Terminator spotted it out, though. Gear Chief still not tanky in the slightest, so has to play this so safe. Sean leads with the meatball. Earthshaker late. Small Town secures the Fire Giant, almost uncontested. Everybody safe for now? Not anymore. Terminator finds Gear Chief, just not tanky enough to survive all the damage from that level 16 Thor. So it's going to be a 4-on-5, but shouldn't matter for the sieges, but Small Town gets the fire, and now the sky is the limit.
Yeah, and Sean did almost steal that one away. I think, well, instead of Meatball might have got it, but a really close call, and I like the way that Harbingers played that defense. I think absolutely corrected them not stepping up and not burning anything besides Vulcan to try and get that one. Played that perfectly. When you're down like that, it really makes no sense to step up to it, so I like the way they did that. Unfortunately, Gear Chief, like you said, not having the defense, falls to Terminator under his own tier 1 tower. It was funny because I think we saw him buy a tier 2 breastplate in base and then sell it for another book. Unless my eyes are tricking me. I could be wrong, but I think I did see that.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough game to be Gear Chief so far. He's not used to playing like this with Harbingers. Most games he's either on par or ahead in that solo lane, and Harbingers can play around him being either tanky or just so fed that they're kind of free to do whatever they want. This game, he can't play that way, and we've seen it really affect everything for Harbingers. The combination of Gear Chief being behind and ZTan being behind has been rough, to say the least. Double stun from Terminator leads to some good damage from BurpleNurple. He gets Sean. Destroyer gets Gear Chief. Akamaru makes it a double for BurpleNurple. And things are going south quickly for Harbinger. ZTan at the back from duo lane. Phoenix down. They're committing for the end. Small Town Girls are looking at the Titan.
Wow.
Flippin' Ninjas puts out the pillars. ZTan's here, taking too much damage to commit to the defense. Flippin' Ninjas is in there deep. Maw comes out. Ninja's falling low. He dies to Destroyer. Lucent backs out. Only person low, though. ZTan's doing numbers, though. But is it going to be enough? Titan below half. ZTan has to back up. That might spell the end. Titan quarter health. ZTan stunned. Make it 10%. Make it a deicide. Make it a victory for Small Town Girls. They commit to the end, and it pays off. They take game number 1.
Yeah, and on the desk, I did not think they would be taking it. I think I questioned giving them that pick, but they have been doing their homework, counter it perfectly. And unfortunately for Harbingers, never got a hold of that one. Credit to Small Town Girls. Played that game dang near perfectly. That is a really, really strong showing in game 1 for the Chaos team.
That was an impressive end. It almost felt like they knew their opponent. You know, you don't want to give Harbingers time to defend, to catch up. If you have an opportunity, and they had all their towers, they had such a lead. Even if they failed that, they probably wouldn't have lost the game off of failing that. It would have evened up at worst. So I think that's a great call. Get their their legs broken. Take them out back and shoot them. That's kind of the mindset Small Town had, and it worked out. But with that, we're gonna waste no time. We'll talk about this game more in the picks and bans of game number 2. We'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. Game number 1 was certainly a shocker. Harbingers had it brought to them like they have not yet this season. Small Town Girls showed up, and they ran it down, and it worked. I'm Anthony Meldum. He's still KingFsher. Let's talk about game number 1.
Yeah, and I think the big theme of game number 1 has to be when we're looking at Small Town Girls. They got a really nice early lead. They knew exactly what to do to counter this team. And I mean, they played it perfectly. I really can't find anything wrong with their gameplay. But I think on the flip side, we talked about a lot Harbingers. They haven't been behind, I think, for more than 5 minutes this season total. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they can bounce back, what they change about their strategies so they can ensure game 2 falls their way.
Yeah, I think for me, if I had to find one thing to change, I would put Gear Chief on something just different. Give him something he can get in the face of Small Town Girls and make a real difference. Get him a Guan Yu, get him a I'm trying to think of other characters that might fit my narrative here. I'd say Guan Yu, maybe an Achilles, a Cthulhu, anything along
Yeah,
those lines.
Yeah, because I think we've definitely seen what Gear Chief can do ahead. He plays extremely well through that Hades solo, hasn't gone wrong yet. But I think definitely getting him onto something more traditional might help him if that same thing occurs again. But I think Harbingers adapt pretty well. I doubt they get that behind early. Again, who knows about mid and late game, but I'd expect a much stronger start. I think they made the right thing here in bans, taking out the Thor. Seemed like late game in particular, every single fight was started by a Thor ult, catching 1 or 2 players off guard, so I really like that ban first. The Ishtar too, I don't know how much of an Ishtar or impact it had in the solo, or the 1v1s rather, versus ZTan, but maybe hoping he can get a better lead on the Cupid this game.
We see Yamoja come out, strong character for Lucent, Cupid, strong character for Zetan, but we see Daji, strong character for Akamaru ban. We talked about that in game number 1. It's been Daji or Humbots, and that's been Akamaru's profile this entire season.
Yeah, and I think on the while you're talking about that, I do not want to see a Humbats in this matchup. I think Humbats ulting against a Yamoja is really dangerous. That comes out and she just sections off that entire ult pretty much so well, so it can definitely be a slippery slope. On the flip side though, I love the Capri. I just Oh, and it is going to be a Hunbats. Not a fan, but Akamaru does play well on it, so I get the reasoning. The Khepri, though, I really like this, a much safer Guardian that's going to allow people to be more aggressive. But if I am Small Town Girls here, I am picking an Achilles for solo right now since that Thor's taken out. But no, it's going to be Kukulin
And they're
instead.
not listening to a word you're saying tonight.
They don't care about me. Wow.
Well, and at least for the rest of the game, anything you call, we can expect the opposite, so it might set us up for some interesting predictions.
Yeah, Caster's Curses have definitely been interesting this season, but maybe now it's opposite day, so finally, not gonna curse somebody. And I definitely don't hate the Kukulum pick. I like the aggression it offers. I think very versatile. You can play it a lot of different ways. We saw Terminator play that one extremely aggressive, but I think probably anticipating Harbingers are going to do something different, maybe hedging your bets there. A really safe solo laner, but still a really good one.
So we talked about how different it's been watching these two teams. Small Town Girls has been varied in their character choices all season. There hasn't been a true clear-cut plan. The same can't be said for Harbingers. Their plan has worked. They basically have backup plans. But we talked about PFShawn. It's so far it has been Vulcan, Scylla, or Agni, and that's kind of just been the play for them. I'm curious of which one of the three we're going to see and what route they're taking. Maybe that'll show some signs on if they choose their mid off of their jungle. Because with Hoombots being who they picked up, I'm curious if we might see a Scylla or an Agni.
Yeah, and the Vulcan did get banned out, and I think that's the only real questionable element I think so far is Small Town Girls' game plan. I could be wrong. I really don't think the Vulcan was that impactful. Had a lot of damage, but when it came to the moments that mattered, getting the killing blows with the Earthshaker and the objective pressure, didn't really offer a whole ton, but maybe more of a kind of felt not seen impact. And I like the rest of their draft. They took out Guan Yu and King Arthur. I think those are the kinds of solo laners we were talking about wanting to see Gear Chief on. So I think definitely making the right move with that, kind of assuring that this Kukulin has some pressure and a Lancelot, a pick we haven't seen in a while.
I'm excited about the Lancelot. Shades of Premier. We've seen Lancelot considerably more in the Premier division as opposed to Challenger. I do want to circle back a bit though and talk about Yamoja getting picked up for Small Town. Very obviously going to go in the hands of Lucent. Lucent's a player who has managed to make Yamoja work despite nerfs throughout the entire season. It's been basically one of the more secure support picks, and for a while, not only was it a meta ban, we definitely saw it be a target ban for a while.
Yeah, and I've teamed with Lisa before. It's definitely worthy of a target ban. I think he has like a 14-star Umoja, extremely good on it, and I think also very, very confident on it. And that's always really key with supports. And I think we see a lot of them. When they get their picks, they just look different. It's night and day. You can tell they're feeling it. So I think letting the Umoja go is something very dangerous. But another one you mentioned, the Cthulhu solo laner, I think that's a great response to the Lancelot. Definitely would have liked to see an execute. But with that Lance and the Kukulin means no Achilles, no Thanatos. I think both those characters would have been really good against Khepri and Cthulhu.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like that might be something that Small Town regrets. Not having an execute against Khepri, especially when there's so many in the game, feels like a misstep to do nowadays.
Yeah, definitely a little bit, but I think we were kind of lucky they didn't get it countered. I think this is one thing we haven't seen all season. It's a very, very different looking team comp here from Harbingers. Do you think they're going to play it a lot differently, or is it going to be the same play style, just with maybe a little bit different combinations this time?
I think the best thing for Harbingers to do would be to stick to the game plan that's worked all season, because it's worked all season for a reason. The only exception being if things start to go south, they need to reel themselves in a bit and kind of do almost like an ego check. Not saying that they were playing too egotistical or too overconfident, but there were some moments where we saw Gear Chief in particular dive a little deep. I want to see them, if they fall behind, reel that in, play to the strengths they know they have, which is their teamwork, their shot calling, and their overall group cohesion.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting one. I thought they were going to lock in the Uller there, and looking at these ADC picks, I'm not sure how much I like the Hoi, but it'll definitely be interesting. The ult pairs really well with the Umoja, too.
It will be interesting indeed. Maybe ZTan will be the thing that turns things around for Harbingers. We will find out in game number 2. We'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. All season they've done it, looking to continue. Harbingers, will they get behind ZTan and make a difference? They're already invading. I'm Anthony Malum, he's KingFsher, let's do it! Purple buff not secured by Lucent. They saved it this time. They expected the invade reminder. You can invade and there's no curse this time. We wanted to have fun. That was a hectic start.
Yeah, and I think probably smart there by flipping ninjas, using the Hand of the Gods to secure that one. They don't have their green buff yet, so Destroyer should get a little bit of extra XP over these two. Z10 and flipping ninja still might hit level 2 off the minion wave. Oh, they do not.
Destroyer has hit it. So doing some okay damage, takes this jump and goes down into the Heart Bomb. Also tanking minions might have been a tough move there. Dropping below half already, basically poked out, but gonna walk forward, try to get some more poke. Nothing quite there yet. Heart Bomb hits the minions, gonna be safe for now. What a chaotic start. Jumps in again on the wave, trying to see what they can do. ZTan is still level 1, but they can't quite take advantage of it. They just don't have enough abilities. Flippin' Ninjas has fallen low, though. Down to 10%. Shallow enough to save it. Heart Bomb gets the double stun. Gets them away for sure. Destroyer probably going to look for a Ricochet to pick up Ninjas here, but has to do it quick. Ninjas healing quick. Not quite there. Such an eventful dual lane. We have not seen this so far.
Yeah, and I like the pace we're seeing from Destroyer. I mean, a little bit questionable. Leaping those times didn't do a whole bunch with it, but not being punished too heavily, so really can't find any faults with that. And it feels like the first time since forever there's not an early jungler kill in the solo lane. Just got the totem and dipped.
I almost wonder if Destroyer plays a lot of duel. That felt like a dual Hou-Yi jumping on you for extra damage. Potential 4-man gank early on here in the dual lane. Oh, it's going to be a tough break for Ninja. It's going to eventually fall. BurpleNurple gets the kill. ZTan might be quick to follow, as there was a nice pullback from Lucent, but not taking too much. Falls to half, has to use the purification beads. But 4 men for 1 kill at 2 minutes. They already get the jungle invades, but always a tough decision to make.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think they do get the jungle invade off, so it should get a little bit better. PFShawn gets his red, though. I think that was a really good move there by flipping ninja, saving the Cupid. Cupid did have to use beads, though. Now Shawn in trouble. Still has a dash up. Ooh, into the jungle? Questionable, but not a bad move.
Yeah, could get caught out, but he's going to take the long way. Probably go back the route towards speed buff. No, gets to take the dangerous way. They didn't. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for him there, but Shawn playing life on the edge, but it's working out so far, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, Shawn, I think, like you said, the Agni, one of the 3 picks kind of associate him with, and I think hopefully should have a stronger game than the Vulcan game. It didn't do horrible, still got a pretty good amount of damage off, but Agni's kit plays really differently. I think the 3 ults with the range is going to allow him to make a lot more of an impact in teamfights.
I can't get over the different feeling so far, just to the start. Things were so chaotic in that duo lane, but something I want to point out before things get crazy, Destroyer has not listened to you, and the starter item is in the 2nd slot, so just mentally prepare for that the rest of the game.
I'm definitely going to have to message him after this one. We'll have a very strict talking to. I guess to each their own. Maybe it looks better like that when it's evolved or something. There's like a color gradient we're missing. Is Akamaru trying to get aggressive, but without that ult, not much kill pressure from the Hun bots.
An Agni Bomb comes out, but it wasn't enough for the secure. Yeah, I just imagine he's using that new Elgato with the knobs to color correct his item build to make sure it's the most pleasant possible.
Yeah, definitely do have to. So now River's Rebuke comes out. It's going to trap the Khepri.
Yeah, Flippin' Ninjas is stuck in it. Taking quite a bit of damage, but not enough to fall yet. And, ooh, the police are here in reverse. This time it's Harbingers looking for the gank. Blink from Akamaru. Fear No Evil comes out. Destroyer has to use Purification Beads. Falling down fast, though. ZTan with the dash in. Destroyer falls to Shawn. A pullback from Ninjas onto Lucent. Akamaru gets the next kill, make it 1-1, 2 kills for Harbingers.
Yeah, and that's a rough swing for Small Town Girls. Use 2 ults onto level 3 Khepri. Still don't get the kill, and they get picked off with beads on the back end. Not the start you wanted out of the duo lane, but I think just like last game, that very large rotation should open up this right side of the jungle to Small Town Girls, and now it does. BurpleNurple trying to get aggro into Shawn.
doing a lot of damage, but underneath the tier 1 tower, Sean gets a bomb out. Fox looking the other way. Sean gonna leave the tower, though, and gets blinked on from BurpleNurple and falls.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why Sean left the tower, but maybe getting scared of a gank, because now Gearchief dropping low.
Descent into Madness comes out, making a double kill, and a killing spree for BurpleNurple. Small Town Girls off to much of the same start as we saw in game number 1, kind of piggybacking off of their early gank and continuing the pressure into mid, and Sean leaving the tower was enough to set up Burple to be able to roam free and fairly healthy. Now they're looking for a speed invade. Akamaru is here for, but Sean is under tower. They cannot contest. They lose their speed buff. Akamaru going to see if he can chase down BurpleNurple, but he can't quite. Lucent, though, might be caught out. We'll see if he can get away from this. Has the mobility to do it. TragicFox is coming around the corner. He will be safe. Everything is going right for Small Town.
Yeah, it really is right now. Now Burple is able to get away from that. No harm, no foul from the Chaos side team. And I think last game we saw some really early aggression onto the Gold Fury. I think it was a little bit under 10 minutes. I could be wrong. I think it's going to be interesting to see now that it's a much more level game, which team is going to get aggressive early, as once again, Small Town Girls have the kill lead and about 1,500 gold lead. Already a bigger one than they had last game.
Yeah, and we talked about feel a lot in game 1. Feel so far is different, but it's different in a different way. Just to double my difference, Small Town Girls feels like they had the confidence this game that they didn't necessarily have in game 1 until late. And Harbingers kind of feels like they're playing overly safe and kind of trying to make their microplay more perfect than it needs to be. It definitely seems like that first game is currently, at least, in the head of Harbingers.
Yeah, definitely it is. And I think, like you said, with the different feel, it's so crazy that this game they can be doing even better, and it still feels like it's completely even, whereas last game, it was nearly dead even, and Harbingers just felt like they were down and out early. Good CC coming from the Capri, not enough damage to follow up onto the Emoja, though.
Yeah, couldn't quite commit after the pluck. Gearchief having a much different feel to his soul lane, too. Just want to make sure we point that out, as we were kind of hard in it. The Pythags piece as a first item, what's your take on that?
I mean, I do like Pythagoras' piece. I don't know if it's a popular opinion, but I think it's a pretty good item, especially with the Cupid on your team. There's going to be a lot of sustain from this team come late game. First item, I don't like it. Like the item, just wish, honestly, and I think on Cthulhu too, Breastplate of Valor, I think it's called. So good with the mana, the CDR, physical protection. Not a whole lot wrong, so questionable decision, but I think late game, it's going to be fine.
BurpleNurple was waiting around the side. Ultimate comes out, chasing down ZTan under tower. Fields of Love comes out. Burple's going to get stunned out and going to fall. ZTan gets the return kill after the gank from the jungler. Flippin' Ninjas could not get there for the revive, but ZTan seemed to handle himself just fine. Nice response kill there for the ADC.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, he had to burn the beads ult, but gets a kill on the back end. Honestly, I think that's worth it for a Cupid. Does have some pretty high damage, high sustain like we've talked about, so shouldn't be missing those a whole ton. Especially since that's really the first gank we've seen all game, 9 minutes in, from Small Town Girls onto the duo lane. Now, we're trying to catch Lucent again, but I don't think they're going to do anything to this emoji.
Yeah, and there goes the Rivers to just break things up. Phantom Shell in response. Fear No Evil comes out. They're really trying to commit to this kill. Ninjas gets the pull. Lucent will fall to ZTan. Tragic and Destroyer are there, but if they commit too deep, Gearchief is just around the corner. Terminator does teleport in, though, in response. Akamaru gets hit hard from the level 10 Soul Laner. Has to back up a bit. The Soul Laners are duking it out in the duo lane. Bit of a surprise. We'll see if either team tries to pull an objective off of this, but nobody will. They're just going to go back to their own lanes. Kind of an awkward fight there.
Yeah, definitely felt like it didn't really need to happen. I think, unfortunately, there for Luz and his ultimate and Destroyers got a little bit maybe miscommunicated. They didn't know they were going to be ulting. His Hunbots is going to be caught in his back and goes down to Terminator. Can their lazy backing and caught in his own jungle.
Yeah, that's tough, especially considering they were walking across. I guess they weren't because they were taking the deep route on their own side of the jungle. The wards are all kind of further in for Harbingers. So just a tough break for Akamaru. They took the perfect route and just caught him off guard.
Yeah, and I would expect to see both these teams playing on the left a lot more. They're spread out now, but I mean, looking at the wards, besides the random ones that are being dropped from the eye in the jungle, they're all on the left side. I think for small town girls too, so I'd expect them to get aggressive on this Fury pretty soon. They have really good vision of the enemy jungle on that left side of the map, especially with Destroyer having that tier 1 shuriken. Does a pretty decent amount of damage to that Gold Fury. Not as far in the build as ZTantalus, but that could change with this back. And yes,
Yeah,
you got the
and
shadow steal.
we talked about ZTan last game kind of getting bullied out. It just felt like it felt like the difference makers of Harbingers were kind of bullied and kept down the entire time. So this time I'm really looking for ZTan to lead the way for his team the way he normally does. Because if he goes off in this Cupid, which we've seen him do all season, things could go very well. It's one of his most picked characters. Whenever he gets it, he's been so dangerous.
Yeah, and I think we've really identified with this team. They kind of do win and lose through their backline. I mean, obviously, I think all their roles do really well in most games. But you can tell it's a backline setting the pace. So having ZTan on something that's a lot more comfortable and I think a lot more viable late game should definitely be a good change for this Harbinger squad.
Suns come out. Ricochet followed. No kill, though, for Destroyer. Looking to get aggressive, though. Akamaru is on the way, though. We'll see if it's enough for punishment, but he did go over a ward. So Destroyer gonna wave hello and be safe for now. Same cannot be said for BurpleNurple, who's getting poked out by Gear Chief, but with Terminator here, Gear Chief gets poked out, or at least backed off. Pyromancer was dropped, though. It looked like they were trying to sneak it. River's Rebuke comes out, catches Shawn in the middle. Fear no evil, though. Great response from Akamaru. TragicFox does get the kill on the PFShawn. Descent into Madness comes out, trying to keep Akamaru safe from Terminator, who's level 12, but just too much damage comes out. TragicFox gets a double kill. Make it 2 for TragicFox, make it 4 for Burple. Things are tough right now for Harbingers. Blue buff invade as well. Very similar story last game. Gear Chief is just so stuck. Getting brought back and brought back again. Ninjas will walk through the safe route, though, with Khepri there with ultimate. Gear Chief is plenty safe to back. Just another tough break for Harbingers. They can't find a footing.
You know, as much as I think they did better, they're kind of limiting the damage, only letting 1 fall, or 2 fall, I guess. I don't like the response from Khepri rotating over. Had the ultimate, I think him and Cupid easily could have gone for a kill, and if not getting that, a buff invade, or maybe even a Gold Fury if they had time. I don't think that's
Oh, Gear Chief just walks up and takes it and casually flies away. That could be a momentum shifter for Harbingers. Great play by Gear Chief.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, not much of a gold shifter as they're still down about 3,000, but that always feels really good. Yeah. Especially with that Pyro, a lot of people kind of discard that buff sometimes as being useless. But if both teams have to back, it definitely gives you a footing on some neutral fights. So not a bad pick for Harbingers. It's their down and gold that helps them get back, so they can definitely afford to go back to base, spend gold, and kind of reset themselves. As the next target should be this Gold Fury, and it should be pretty soon. We haven't seen these teams group up on the left since about the 8.5, 9-minute mark.
Destroyer has to use Purification Beads to get away, but Fields of Love comes out. He doesn't have the beads anymore. Falling low, hanging on the Suns, though, for safety. Shell comes out, and ZTan does get the kill onto Destroyer. Lucent could not get there in time. Bit of a tussle in mid lane as well between Fox and Shawn. Gear Chief is walking up. Dash doesn't do damage, though. Gear Chief is waiting on the other end for Fox. Shawn here for return damage, but Yamojis here and pushes Shawn back into the tower. Nice play from Lucent, showing some nice mechanics on display. Descent into Madness comes out in the mid lane. Akamaru getting pressured out in the back by Terminator, has to go underneath the tower. Big level advantage there in solo for Terminator. Shawn around the side. Nurple gets the blink. It will be enough for the kill, though. Shawn is currently safe. Ninjas around the wall. The revive is just in time, but he brings them just to a different death. Tough break for PFShawn. Cannot quite escape death this time. Akamaru low. Ninjas low. Chief low. Burple goes under tower. Ultimate enough for the kill. Akamaru falls. Who's next on the chopping block? Make that flip, and Ninjas It's a killing spree for Tragic. It's a double kill for BurpleNurple. ZTan here. Can he clean things up, or will this be a death? Good damage onto Burple with the heart bomb. Not quite enough for the kill. ZTan can't commit further, or he'll die. He has to dash out. And Harbingers loses 4 members and the Gold Fury.
Yeah, and without trying to sound too harsh, Harbingers, they need to get it cleaned up a little bit. In that team fight, I mean, first, Flippin' Ninjas used a shell when him and the Cupid were both full health, which granted, I don't think is a big deal. It wouldn't have impacted that fight. But not letting that Agni fall, they tried to recommit, save him with the Kepriol, and 3 of them died because of it. Enabled Small Town Girls to dive the tower with everyone so low. Not a great fight from Harbingers, and Small Town Girls, on the flip side, do the right thing. I think given how far we're seeing Harbingers live into these team fights, there's definitely potential for them to still be okay late game. They need to get to the late game. It's getting a little bit reminiscent of game 1, and they need to stop the bleeding here if they want to get late in this one.
Yeah, and we talked about that. They need to figure out when you get put on the back foot like that, when you don't have the advantage, you got to figure out how to play different and how to stay in the game. And so far, they haven't done it. I certainly think it's there because something that they have over other teams is their teamwork is top tier. Destroyer getting ganked out by the purple buff will lose the purple buff, finding victories where they can. This is exactly what Harbingers needs to do. They need to start taking control where they can find it and find their ways back into this game. But just to finish my point, I think Harbingers has the teamwork to do it. They've shown it all season. It's just a matter of reworking that teamwork and those calls to being behind and adjusting on the fly.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, a very, very small victory there with the buff invade, but it's still a victory. It makes you feel good. It's now Lucent in pressure on the mid lane. I think PFShawn being smart here, staying back. Engage, though.
BurpleNurple went deep, couldn't quite find too much, but finds a lot of damage from PFShawn. They can't commit further, though. We saw what happened last time. Enough for Burple to get away. Tough break for the Lancelot, but fantastic break for Harbingers. ZTan and Destroyer still boxing out. Duo, Burple might look for a gank over here. Does walk over a ward, though. It gives ZTan plenty of time. Gonna have to turn into a purple invade. But with how low Burple is, ZTan might contest. The ward came down late. He did not see how low Burple was until it was too late. He might have committed for a fight, but with Fields of Love down anyway, probably couldn't have gotten a kill. So things are slowly calming down for the moment.
Yeah, and if I'm Small Town Girls, I would love to get aggressive onto the left side of the map here soon. For one reason, when we look at solo laners, that Cthulhu does not have the teleport upgraded to tier 3. This Kakolin could get across the map before Cthulhu even gets back to base. I think they have a really big rotation advantage right now, but maybe just not really utilizing it, as instead they're sparring over a Scorpion.
And that level advantage is getting significant. Level 17 to level 13 for Kakolin. That's a difficult mountain to climb, even for somebody as big as Cthulhu. Dual lane, though, there might be some action coming soon. Sean poked out TragicFox for now. Both the supports are here, but the action might be more mid. Nobody wants to commit to anything yet. Harbinger's trying to play it slow, but the tough part about trying to play things slow is you give up on opportunities you may have because you don't want to risk taking them. An opportunity might present itself here in the form of the purple buff. They found Lucent and Destroyer. Gonna commit for it. What can Akamaru do to help secure this for his team? They did not get the purple buff. Destroyer was able to secure it. River's Rebuke comes out, but the Phantom Shell was saved this time, so they're going to be able to get away. Kind of an awkward attempt there by Harbingers, but overall I think they made the right call by not over-committing for it. I don't think it would have gone well.
Yeah, and speaking of slow play, the play calling from Small Town Girls is a little questionable to me. They have 3 and 4 level leads in solo and jungle, but all they're doing is invading camps on the right-hand side. This is what we need to see as BurpleNurple gets aggressive. Can't find
the Khepri ult was enough to back him up. Sean does die. The Khepri ult was good. Sean just taking so much damage, though. Fear No Evil in the back from Akamaru onto Terminator. ZTan gets the kill onto Lucent. ZTan came from the back and is doing work so far. The Suns come out, though, and it's enough to pick up Flippin' Ninjas. The Khepri ultimate was gone. Terminator falling low. Gear Chief looking for the kill with Descendant to Madness. Can he find it? On to Terminator, he does. Can ZTan clean up the rest? Blink from Akamaru. The Fear No Evil was already used. ZTan dashes in, finding good damage on a TragicFox. Nurple blinks in the back to try to stop the bleeding. Finds an Akamaru, but ZTan is still full health. He gets a double kill. could not be stopped at level 19. We were concerned about Terminator. We should have been looking at ZTan.
Definitely should have. The Cupid absolutely swinging in that fight. That happens when you're not prepared for crit. And Lucent did build a Spectral last game, but this game has gone without one so far. So vulnerable, good stun to get him off the horse, but no follow-up. If I'm Harbingers, they're walking towards this Gold Fury. I haven't seen the timer yet. I thought they would have gone over there to the Pyro. Oh, okay, no, the Gold Fury is the right choice, so I don't think Small Town Girls can contest this one. They're not over here, it's only the Yamoja.
Yeah, it's going to be tough if they do try to contest it. ZTan's hidden hard, and Yamoja doesn't really have a build to survive ZTan right now. If Yamoja were to get caught out, Primal Fury down to a quarter. Lucent going to look for the steal. Will not be able to find it. Harbingers gets secure. They pick up the Primal Fury. ZTan leading the way, just like we talked about. Might be enough. Look at the gold charts. They tell quite the story.
Yeah, definitely a really good comeback as we do see another pause, though. So I'll have to speculate on that later as we throw you into break in game number 2.
I hope you didn't miss us, even though it was quick. We're back already, and that gives Fish plenty of time to continue his point.
Gotta love continuing the point. But I think now, as we see Harbingers, I think they got a couple small victories, but they need to translate it to something bigger. I think Small Town Girls, I think I said this earlier, but they need to put the pedal to the metal. You only hit level 20 once, as already we see the 3 and 4 level leads fall to 2 and 3, as I think Lancelot does have another half level. But the more you can get Terminator and BurpleNurple involved in these fights, I mean, Akamaru and Gear Chief can't keep up with them right now, and that's just the fact. So I think exploiting that is definitely the way that Small Town Girls needs to play this. That is questionable.
It's aggressive. Does get a nice ricochet, though, but not enough for the damage. I actually saw Destroyer stop ZTan's back, and I was wondering if it was going to play out bad for Destroyer, but it was almost bad for ZTan. Scorpion being contested by Small Town. Ooh.
Yeah, and I think I was really questioning Destroyer jumping in, but knew what he was doing, caught ZTan really low. I mean, Cupid does, higher level, has Deathbringer online now, so I think Destroyer definitely gonna recognize that and not be as aggressive. Had that Executioner feeling good, though. Looking for a Pyromancer. Can they get it with an Agni Bomb over the wall?
They do! Harbingers gets the steal. Descent into Madness follows. Burple's quite low. Has got to get out quick. Sean, though, in a bit deep, now surrounded by 3. Shell comes out, might be premature, we'll have to see. The Capri ult once again on point from Flippin' Ninjas. Gear Chief in a bit of a bad spot, trying to just stall for his team, for everybody to get there. ZTan down by speed buff. Gear Chief at about 25%, now he's in a trap of getting stuck in. Destroyer gets the kill. ZTan's here though, what can he do? Akamaru's here as well. Lucent just got deleted. ZTan gets a double kill almost instantly. Burple blinks in the back onto ZTan. Shell comes out. You can't beat that. It's a triple. Make it a quadra. Make it a pentakill for ZTan.
And that was incredible. I was so ready to just say, what are they doing? Going back in, but ZTan and the Deathbringer hitting like an 18-wheeler. That is incredible from the Cupid. That could absolutely turn this game around. What a swing to Harbingers.
He had 5 around him, and it still could not zap him. This game 2, we were worried Harbingers might lose. Right now, ZTan is the man.
ZTan is the man. I want to see that hashtag all over now whenever he plays. Gotta see it. And that was... I don't think that the value of that play can really be understated for the Cupid, not only because of the utility it brings, but that is such a mood changer. So now they're able to go onto the Fire Giant with those death timers being down. This game is suddenly looking a lot more in Harbinger's directions, but can they do enough with this FG to get themselves back into the lead?
Unbelievable. There was 5 opportunities to kill ZTan, and he killed each of those opportunities. It's just insane.
Yeah, I was not expecting that when I saw Akamaru blink back in. I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's
He
going
was so
down."
low. He got a pentakill at a quarter health. Find me where that happens. Normally, that is a. Not only is that a great play for ZTan and a total. You want to talk about a momentum changer? Forget the Pyromancer. That's a momentum changer. That was a morale killer for small town girls. If you've ever been on a team that gets pentakilled in a game, you know that it just feels like the wind is just completely taken out from you.
I was gonna say, might be compounded by the fact that was a 5v2, and the person
Yeah.
was on a quarter health the entire fight.
Yeah,
I
and they
mean,
just could
to be
not find
fair
that
though,
kill.
right, to be fair, it's a level 20 Cupid with Deathbringer. It happens. I think they're probably gonna understand it, but I think that really shows them going forward. They need to get this Cupid down extremely fast, and that's gonna fall to, I think, iTerminatorr. Because BurpleNurple, he's been targeted Harbingers, not found a ton of value. Terminator needs to find some, but he needs to find a way out right now, drop down to about half.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling way more awake than I felt before. Fear No Evil comes out, Terminator low in the back, Descent into Madness comes out. Not gonna find much with it though. Terminator was able to get away. Akamaru falling low, has to play it safe. TragicFox could easily delete him, but look at those heals from the little cute Cupid potions, my favorite thing. Instead of looking for a fight, they're gonna push the tower wisely. The fight will come to you if you push far enough. Gear Achievement against. Look at the damage from ZTan. Tragic just got lit up, and now it's Lucid Colors getting lit up. ZTan can do anything he wants on this map right now. He finds a kill on the loose, and Akamaru killed Tragic. iTerminatorr will be the next to follow, making a double for Akamaru this time. The tier 2 tower will not be far behind. All small town girls can do at this point is sit back and watch as Harbingers has made the complete comeback.
Yeah, they have, and that was, I think, the first time, not only this game, but all set, I think we've seen a fight where small town girls, it just didn't look like they knew what to do. They were spread out, they all tried to engage in different targets, different times. A bad fight from them, and a good one from Harbingers. They're looking for the end. Can they find it? Their full health bar. Lancelot isn't back. This is a good call.
It's shades of game 1, but this time Harbingers is on the gas pedal. BurpleNurple doing the wise thing, trying to blow up ZTan, but the KingFsher ult comes down. Harbingers falling low quick. Good defense for small town girls. They pushed them out so quick that Harbingers could not commit to the full end. The Titan is too tanky with the 2 towers up and the 2 Phoenixes. But BurpleNurple just made ZTan godlike. He just walked at him. You gotta know how much damage Cupid's doing. He's critting the blue buff for 1100. Get out of there, Burple.
And I like the talk from BurpleNurple to try to chase that one down. They were all really low. I think not a bad play, but walking right into Cupid autos, probably not the way to go about it. And that was a little surprising from Harbingers. They lost a ton of health. They did almost nothing to that Titan. That's something I think to be wary of if you're them. They need a lot cleaner push than that. They still have every opportunity to get it. But I think they're either looking for a full deicide or trying to push out with some minion waves next time.
Yeah, I think it's always tough to go for a straight Titan end with all those towers up if you don't have a fresh deicide, and they really didn't have that. It was a gutsy call, and we saw it work in game 1, so it's kind of hard to argue with it completely. I definitely see where it was, but like you said, now the play is to calm things down. The momentum isn't going anywhere. Now the pace of the game is completely in your hands. You can do basically anything you want at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think we're seeing that now for the first time all game. They're the ones being able to take the objectives without much hope or worry at them being lost. Is now not 1,000, but 600, still being crit incredibly, and I think really good that he's able to get those silver. Oh, whoa, you can't say that.
Hey, he's the one critting, not me. Take it easy, Fish. I'm sorry.
That's right, I forgot.
Tier 1 falls. Everybody from Harbingers is backing. It's crazy. All it took was their captain leading the way, and it feels like that synchronicity and that teamwork, it's all back for Harbingers with the exception of the tough time at the Titan. Everything's going their way. Just look at the charts, Fish. Walk us through them.
I mean, I think it speaks for themselves. Harbingers, they got that one really strong fight at the Pyromancer, and from there, it's been an upward climb. They haven't really slowed down a whole ton. On the flip side, small town girls, it just looks like they're losing steam a bit. I don't think they're playing bad, but they are not playing the way they need to be to get themselves back into this game. I think I was going to show you on the scoreboard. I know we're talking a lot about the impact that Tantalus has right now. There are 3 spectral armors, or 1 being built into 1 from the small town girls. They are terrified with a Cupid.
And how can you not be? Harbingers gets the fire giant, and now they're going to look to run it down. The chase begins. Fields of Love comes out. Not going to find anybody, though. Gear Chief goes into Descent to Madness. Waves cut them off, though. And he goes down from it. He can't commit through. Phantom Shell comes out. Harbingers is grouped up. They might look for the end here again. Do you think they're going to commit, or are they going to take it easy?
I think the play call should definitely be to take this Phoenix in the mid lane, or maybe even go left for the tier 2. I think going for the Titan right now is not the right call. You can't do that with a 5v5 up.
I thought for a second they might, but I'm glad they thought better of it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the smart move. And on the right lane, they got minions pushing in. If they can keep small town girls distracted long enough, they're going to make it extremely easy on themselves to win this one. Small town girls, as much as you don't want to do it, you might have to force a fight here before that right lane gets in too much trouble, as they have to send Lancelot over.
Lancelot's over. Hoyi's in mid defending from Gear Chief. ZTan took a good bit of damage, has to back up. He is priority number 1 for both teams, realistically, to keep him alive and to kill him, depending on which side you're on. Fire minions, though, were on the Phoenix. Lancelot walked away from it. It's falling low. They're not even going to go for the defense. Right Phoenix falls. They will not have it up for this fight. That gives a lot of opportunities for Harbingers to split this fight and make it really tough for Small Town. Waiting to see who makes the first move, though.
And if I'm Harbingers, I'm pressing the gas pedal right now. They see the Lance in mid lane. I mean, that...
Minion's a Titan, too.
Not sure why Akamura beats that, but he did. Or, oh, no, sorry. Magi's cloak. Okay.
You got baited by the item.
I was like, okay, I don't think it was that impactful, but still does have beads, so can afford to push. Cthulhu's keeping that Lancelot company, and TragicFox is at the Titan. I do not know what Harbingers are waiting for.
Yeah, it looks like they're waiting for the perfect opportunity, but they've had the opportunity a couple of times now. We'll see if this wave is it, or if they keep still playing it safe. BurpleNurple, though, getting poked out in the mid lane. Fear No Evil comes out. He's falling so low, so quick. Will it be the auto reset? No, it'll be the ultimate. Lancelot gets away, so another opportunity gone. They did not push in with Purple falling low, as there was 2 members fighting out the Lancelot, and there's just no opening in the mind of Harbingers yet.
I know, and that's a little bit worrying to me.
Oh, this could be it.
Here,
Double root. He goes in with the dash. ZTan's lighting up Lucent. Ninjas, though, falling low. Akamaru does clean up the kill. Flippin' Ninjas falls. Akamaru falls. ZTan's putting out numbers, but will the numbers be enough? Are they on their side? Gear Chief is in Descent into Madness and putting in work. ZTan falling low. They need him alive for this damage. A good stun comes out and Destroyer keeps him from pushing further, but Harbingers fails the Phoenix Siege when everything seemed to be on their side.
Yeah, and they're still in a great position, but if I'm a Harbingers fan, that is concerning, I think is a way to put it. They had multiple 4v3s when the Lancelot was in, or 4v5s when the Lance was in mid and in right. They had their Phoenix's minions marching into the Titan. I'm getting all mixed up. They even had a 5-on-3 at one point, and they wait until it's a full strength 5-on-5 with no minions. It's questionable to me, but they're still very much in the lead of this game. They're going to have a lot more opportunities to end still.
Yeah, they got to clean it up, though. I mean, I feel like as good as Harbingers has been this season, I feel like you and I have said the sentence to each other, Harbingers needs to tighten things up, they need to clean things up a lot. I mean, thankfully, there's still time left, and they get better each time we see them, with the exception of game number 1. But there's definitely some small things that they need to iron out.
Yeah, there definitely are, and I think the more situations they're in like this, I know we talked about it a little bit, like in the desks, in the breaks, the more experience they get to being down, the better they're going to be with it at time. It's better it's happening now than in the playoffs. I think we're starting to see them gear up for one again. They're doing the right things in pushing all the minions out. If they're going for this Fire Giant again, honestly, I don't even think they need to. If they can find a clean team fight, it's going to be an enhanced Fire Giant. It's going to help them. Small Town Girls are going to have to step up to this objective, and it's not a good spot if you're on the Chaos team.
Challenger Division has gone one of 2 ways pretty much all season. The EFG is either a guaranteed victory, or you dance around it for about 25 minutes until somebody accidentally goes too far. So we'll see which of those two it ends up being. I certainly hope it is the former, not the latter. I have things to do with my night. I don't know about you. We do see Harbinger setting up for the EFG nice and early, though. Terminator might have stepped too close to ZTan, took a lot of damage, and quickly. ZTan might commit, not quite yet, though. Nobody was there for follow-up. That does matter, though, for this next fight. BurpleNurple gets pulled by Ninja. Zakamaru blinks in, they caught him out! Couldn't find the kill, though. Heart Bomb gonna blow up, but he had the shield from his ultimate. It was enough for the defense. Gear Chief goes to descent into madness in the back. TragicFox is getting absolutely obliterated. Look at Terminator getting stuck with ZTan. Agni bombs coming out. No kills yet. ZTan dashes in, looking forward. Shawn gets the kill. Those XP camps also get blown up. Excuse you, ZTan. Put that damage on the Fire Giant where it is needed most right now. Blinking from Burple on the Gear Chief, though. Did he overcommit for it? I think he may have. BurpleNurple gonna fall. Lucent falls with him.
Oh?
Tough break for Small Town Girls. Great position now for Harbingers to be in. This EFG is more than free.
Yeah, it is. I mean, in all fairness, I don't think they need the EFG in a 5v2. I think it's a little bit more of a time waster, but at the same time, Cupid is doing a ton of damage. I think they kill the Phoenix easily. By the time Kakolin gets back up, they're going to have serious damage onto the Titan. I wouldn't wait for the minion wave, though. I would just W key, and that's what Shawn's doing.
Great move by Shawn there to make TragicFox back out. He's low. Akamaru going to clean it up. Make it ZTan. He was there for the basic. Make it 14-1-9 for the Cupid. Destroyer is the last one alive to defend. He just does not have the damage to match the whole team. Harbingers not only gets a penta, but they get game number 2. We're going to game 3.
And it took a while to get there, but they finally do get the win. Really good comeback from them. It was a little bit worrying in the beginning, given how game 1 had been, but they do a good job answering back. They have a massive turnaround from ZTan with the pentakill, and they get it done in the end. Second game goes to Harbingers, and game 3, it's going to be a really competitive one.
And we're not even going to make you wait for it. We'll be right back on the Smite Draft League with more action between the Harbingers and the Small Town Girls. You cannot get any more exciting than game number 2. There was a comeback, there was a pentakill, and now there's a game 3. You don't need any more information than that aside from the first ban being the respect Cupid ban. You cannot blame small town girls.
Can't at all, and that's the right move. I don't know how much that is credit to the god itself, or how much credit to ZTan just really feeling on top of it. But regardless, gonna take it out, try to switch things up. Definitely the right call. I think everybody on the Harbingers played really well that match, but can't overlook the damage that ADC did.
Yeah, that it was a special Cupid performance. There's really no other way to put it. I mean, like you said, it's still a meta god. It's still a good band, but it coming out first tells me that Small Town Girls was pretty unanimous in their comms of like, let's not run that one back. Let's not even risk it.
Yeah, and I think probably the smart move. I mean, even if you're looking at morale sake, just not having to go up against a Cupid is gonna feel a lot better. And now, the one thing I don't like from Harbingers here, I wish they still would have banned out that Thor. I think it was so impactful in game one that if I'm Small Town Girls, I would honestly top lock it. It's maybe not the best pick, but it did incredible in their game that they won.
I I really find these bands interesting. It kind of feels like Small Town Girls came into this game trying to choose Harbinger's draft for them. It's a unique approach, but it worked in game number 1 when we saw them kind of anticipate slash sort of let the Daji happen and they played around it. Maybe they're going for a similar approach.
Yeah, they could be, but I guess we will have to wait and see. But the Emoja top lock, I don't think is a bad idea. I think Lucent did pretty well on it, all things considered. I think just being kind of behind all game, didn't really get to see it in its full glory. And on the other side, back to the Daji, definitely the good move for Akamaru, I think. Didn't have a great time on it game one, but I think that's definitely due to the way Small Town Girls played it. No real fault over to the jungler.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we talked about it in game 1. We've seen Akamaru do well on both characters and I think off air we heard it best from our own cameraman. If you've got a character you're good at and they don't ban the character, why not play the character? There's really no reason not to. With Cupid ban though, Ztan goes to old reliable and my most hated character, Shibalanke.
And speaking of if you like the character, you play it. It's the Jibalank. It's our favorite on this desk. I mean, hard to kind of overlook the global impact it has. I think it comes nowhere near to Cupid in terms of crowd control and sustain, but definitely has other benefits. I think it spreads himself pretty well in a team fight. And the ultimate as well, plunging people into darkness, especially this Thor from Tragic, if it does get locked in, it's gonna be the Yuwong instead. Might still pick up a Thor. That'd be difficult to see if your whole screen is just dark.
Yeah, that's
Gonna rely on some pings.
his seeing eye pings will come out just in time and try to set him up.
I'm sure they will. It's interesting, honestly. If I was Tantalus, I'm just ulting whenever Thor ults. That's pretty much exclusively when I'm ulting. And back into the Khepri. I don't know how big of an impact Khepri had on the last game, but regardless, the team won, so I don't hate picking it back up, especially still without an execute here from the Small Town Girls. No real reason not to pick the Khepri.
Yeah, I think the biggest time we saw the ultimate show up was consistently on Sean. At the end, we did see it used on Ztan once, but Ztan really just wanted the movement speed and he was running it down anyway. So I do like you said, I don't see a problem with it. I definitely don't think it's flipping Ninja's best character, but I think it's a safe choice.
Yeah, and I do like most things about the draft so far. The one thing I think kind of wish was changed up is TragicFox on the Yu Huang. I think TragicFox has been doing fine, not doing bad at all, definitely still getting damage. But in a team fight, I think Yu Huang is a lot less impactful than the Vulcan and the Agni that we've seen. So I'd maybe like to see something that spreads himself around a bit more. I mean, Yu Huang just has a root and then a line ultimate. You really don't hit a ton of people with those abilities if they're playing around you well.
I agree completely. We do see, you know, with the draft we're seeing, it feels so familiar. These two teams are just so set in their ways. Do you think with these last two picks on both sides, there's any chance we see anything out of the ordinary as the Acne gets
Um,
picked?
I don't. The only thing, I mean, we're gonna see a different solo laner here from Gear Chief. If I see him pick the Hades, I would not really be happy, obviously, does pretty well in the Hades sometimes, but given how well they played against it in game 1, I don't think it'd be the move to go back. And here's something different. It's a Pele. I don't know if we've seen it from BurpleNurple, but I do like Pele as a god, a very aggressive jungler.
It does feel like Pele is kind of unfairly almost fallen off lately. So I'm excited to see Pele be brought back and see what she can do in the hands of Burple. I mean, the talent is there for BurpleNurple. We do see Onher come out as well. I like Onher as an answer to ZTan because Onher kind of calms things down. Because you don't want to, especially early, you don't want to box it out with an Onher. So that might keep ZTan slightly more in check, like we saw in game 1 for Destroyer, because that made all the difference in game 1.
Yeah, and I think in game 1 also, I mean, us seeing Destroyer get off to that early lead, I think translated really well into late game. Not necessarily just the ADC popping off, but limiting ZTan. I think you said it perfectly. Giving the on her should be able to do that early on. Early leads can kind of kill the duo lane if somebody gets ahead like really early on and you start getting wave clear and poking them out can definitely be hard to contest with. So on her, not my favorite pick in the world, but I see the reasoning behind it and I like it.
Guan Yu comes out, has undeniably been one of Gear Chief's best characters all season. Will that be enough for Harbingers to make it 2 in a row and take this set, or can Small Town Girls rally after the pentakill and get game number 3 to take a set away from Harbingers, ruining their undefeated streak? We'll find out in game number 3. We'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. Lucent Colors is trying to invade and control how the momentum starts in this game number 3. I'm Anthony Malum. He's KingFsher. Let's do it. Let's invade.
Oh, and the invade's always so much fun, and I think, listen, it didn't go well last time trying to invade the buff. I think doing the smart thing, coming back for the green.
Yeah, they were ready this time.
Yeah, and we didn't see Destroyer get off to the level lead, but now that he's not invading, pretty inconsequential, so both parties should hit level 2 at the correct time in this game. You'll love to see it.
It was a close call. We didn't get to see much of it on air, but Harbingers was more than ready for the invade from Lucent, and things almost went badly quickly. Lucent luckily did not get CC'd and was able to survive, but with that, somehow the invade leads to our most even start of the set here in duo lane. Ooh, Terminator falling low in solo quick. How did that happen already for him? Not quite the same start as we've seen. Does survive for now. Close, though. Dangerous game there to play as Thor, especially with the Pele hanging out. Gear Chief now might fall. No commitment, though. Not the same kind of fight we've seen in solo. They've been fighting over the totem. This time, it seems like they're fighting to see who can get the first gank off.
Yeah, the Tala solo hurts as your Thor, especially without that full first item built. Oh, and the Totem coup falls to Harbingers. That's it. Harbingers wins game 3.
they got the first damage on Delucent, and they got the first totem. So, like you said,
I was
it's
gonna
pretty.
say, do we remember who won Totem in game 2? Because, I mean,
Ooh,
Small Town Girls won it in game 1.
starting to get that. Now that's a different form of theory crafting, right
Getting
there.
meta with it.
Oh no, one basic will do it! Make it a solo for the first blood! This time it goes away as Small Town Girls. Looking for more kills in the mid lane. Sean falling low quickly in Agni, but Pele doesn't quite have enough to follow up quite yet.
Yeah, and I would have thought the first kill would come when the junglers are over there, but I guess not, as it's a solo from Thor on to Guan Yu, given the way that initial trade went. I thought it would have been the other way around, but now Guan Yu has that tier 2 with a breastplate. I think Thor starts getting out poked here. Good stun by Destroyer to confirm the scepter.
There's the jump and the knockback. Shell comes out. Flippin' Ninjas will probably fall, but ZTan should be good to get away. TragicFox gets the kill on the Flippin' Ninjas. They get 2 kills for Small Town Girls. Hopping back to solo. Double tap, no good. Gear Chief lives another day. Terminator could not quite find it on the double tap. Tough break for Small Town Girls, but things are going well at the start here for him.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's a turnaround from game 2 you like to see. And in game 2, we did see them get off to another early lead. I think this time it's definitely about keeping it. I think also, we've talked about it a lot, limiting TragicFox is the way to go. Wouldn't have thought it after game 1, but given the way game number 2 went, definitely gotta think that is the game plan. As I'd expect to see this, oh gosh, I'm blinking on the name, the Pele over in that duo lane early and often.
Terminator being dangerous here, looking for the kill, but it might not pay off. The dash secures it. Gear Chief now gets a solo on Terminator. They're even 1-1. 1-1.
Seeing the solo laners trade kills, it's classic Smite at its absolute best. I think, unfortunately, really small slip up there, not stunning the Guan Yu out of the Tallow Assault before hitting the spin around. I think regardless, Guan might have got that kill. Having his heal is just so helpful as Akamaru. There's a look onto Tragic, not going to find nearly any damage, though.
Yeah, Yu Huang's just a bit too safe to fall for any pesky ganks. BurpleNurple does get the jungle invade. Will not get caught out quite in time. The small camps are the only thing he gets, though. So nothing major. Terminator might look to get a sneaky ult on Gear Chief. He does have an ultimate of his own, though, so it'd be a risky call. But when a Thor is in the jungle, you can never really trust what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely can't. Thors are scary. They teleport around. I never want to attack Thors in the jungle. But now, a lot of sparring in duo lane. I would have expected a lot more lower health bars. We've seen everyone pretty topped up every time we come over. There was a Buke out. A little bit of an early ult as Terminator gets Gear Chief again.
Another solo kill in the solo lane. Harbingers this time does want to commit to duo, but they can't quite get the positioning. It was spotted out just a little too soon, or sensed out for that matter. Gonna have to turn to Oracles. BurpleNurple will find a half-health Sean, but has to get through Akamaru to get to Sean. Where's the commitment? The ultimate's caught by Akamaru. Powwow comes out. BurpleNurple gonna get caught in it. Pulled back. Gonna die to Akamaru. TragicFox is here. Can he find the cleanup? Dragons were not enough. Now Sean might look for follow-up onto TragicFox. Dual lane destroyer killed Flippin' Ninjas. TragicFox and Sean trading basics, trading abilities. Yu Huang definitely has the ability advantage here, unless Sean can hit quite everything. Agni Bomb avoided for TragicFox. Things aren't looking good for Sean. Probably has to back under his tower. Action across the map. These two teams are just having a bloodbath this series.
Yeah, that was a really tense 20 seconds. And I gotta say, ambitious from BurpleNurple to go for the 1v2. To his credit, almost did find the kill, but not quite. Without beads, not much hope of living through that dodgy Palau. Is now Gear Chief finding a little bit more sustain in the lane with that Breastplate of Valor online. Has more cooldown than Thor and a lot more protections. Terminator had the lead early. I think it's probably going to be a lot more of a stalemate now in the solo lane.
It's been a fun solo lane, really, this whole set. It's been very back and forth. Game 1 was kind of all control Terminator. Game 2, despite the level advantage, it felt more even with Gear Chief on the Cthulhu. And this game, we're feeling a bit more even than we felt. I really like Gear Chief on these more traditional solo laners. It feels like a different player.
It really does, and I think definitely good in his own right on the full damage ones we've seen most of the time, but I think, like you said, it does feel like a different player, and I think it's a lot safer of a play too. It's a much more traditional team comp, but I think for his team as well, it allows him to play a little bit easier around him as now BurpleNurple. Oh, I thought they were going for a gank there, just trying to collapse onto the Khepri. He's stealing away the cups.
Khepri will back out of there. They might look for a blue buff invade, though do not find it. Terminator does secure it and gets away. That was a close one, but not gonna be the same for Akamaru falling low quick. But he does have the powwow. He gets up in it to avoid the Rivers of Rebuke. Nobody's pulled in though. Gonna have to walk the other way. Not quite what you want if you're a Harbingers fan, but at least they didn't all die during the invade.
That's true, and I think the one similar thing to Game 1, Small Town Girls have an absolute ton of CC immunity. Again, Lucent the only one without it, but picked up beads early to compensate, so Akamaru is going to have a tough time finding the really good powwows to set up for kills. Burning beads is one thing, but getting the easy kills is another. Terminator here, I think making the wise choice not to chase under tower.
Yeah, that would have been a tough kill to get with Khepri hanging out with ultimate. It would have been borderline impossible without some kind of crazy misplay from ninjas, which is not common for the Harbingers support. Duo lane has been shockingly calm, minus the recent gank. Neither of these two are really going at it hard. I mean, we kind of talked about that, at least I did, with the on her kind of calming down ZTan. We saw it with Ishtar in Game 1, and the Hou Yi just could not slow down ZTan on that Cupid. So keeping him contained is probably working out very well for Small Town, and will pay dividends later on.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only shocking thing we've seen on the Cupid side of the map is I would have assumed Small Town Girls were going to put a lot more pressure on it, but we've really only seen one big gank. It's been pretty much Destroyer and Lucent fending for themselves over there, doing a pretty dang good job of it as Harbingers looked for that gank, but luckily on her, it got its buff, got back to base. So no such luck, Destroyer stays at 1-0, not falling to any early ganks for the Small Town Girls.
None quite. Nice double root from Flippin' Ninjas on the TragicFox and Lucent colors, but unfortunately for Ninjas, nothing comes of it quite yet. Oh, what an ultimate, though, from Flippin' Ninjas. Catches ZTan. Perfect time, but Destroyer just does too much damage. What will come next? Another double root, make it a double kill for Destroyer. He picks up Akamaru as well. Great ultimate from Flippin' Ninjas, but that's pretty much the only thing that went right for Harbingers.
Yeah, it really was, and now I think correctly going on to the Gold Fury here with the Small Town Girls, and like having BurpleNurple zone off Flippin' Ninjas, the Gil Gear Chief is going to be huge. Harbingers steal it away.
BurpleNurple is low, though. Destroyer gets Gear Chief, but with Harbingers getting the steal, kind of hard to feel like they aren't still just really being pesky for Small Town Girls. They're kind of annoying them every step of the way. You can see it in the chart even. Every time there's a significant rise for Small Town, there's just a little some from Harbingers.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if the gold trade-off was worth it. I think Gold Fury for a death this early is definitely worth it out from Gear Chief, so I like that play. Good use of the jump there from TragicFox, getting away from damage and not burning the beads either. One of the best things about Yu Huang's kit, you have so much damage and CC immunity. Who needs relics when you play a mid laner like that?
Yeah, you know, I like to, once a set, point out some kind of mechanical thing that I've seen. And while Ninja's ultimates have been so on point, TragicFox, she has had the most fantastic escapes consistently on Yu Huang. The amount of damage that she's escaped, if there was a number for it, it would probably be astronomical.
It definitely would, and I think not only just a mechanical ability, but the game sense to recognize when you have to pop that can be forced out so easily. The fact that she's using it at exactly the right times really makes me think she's know what she's doing on the Yu Huang. I know I questioned it a little bit in desks, but this game looks a lot more confident, as now we're going to see a big group from Harbingers trying to push down. Lucent stepping a bit too far up in lane, he's going to get caught out.
Does get caught out, couldn't use that escape to get away this time. Fury comes out, won't be enough. Akamaru gets a kill onto Lucent colors. Powwow pulls Destroyer back in. The jump did nothing. Probably should have saved it for after the pull. Still alive though. Sean with a tower dive. ZTan gets the final hit. And all Tragic can do is watch from around the corner. Harbingers with a successful duo lane gank at 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I do like the commitment that Harbinger showed to that one, getting the shutdown on her, who was 4-0 at that point. That's going to be a pretty big gold bounty. It's definitely the right thing to do. Unfortunately, with the Gold Fury missing, the purple buff down, not much more they can do than back to base and spend that few hundred gold. So now solo lane still pretty even, but Gear Chief has the advantage over the Guan Yu. I guess Glad Shield's an okay item. Ooh, but no, gets poked out massively there.
Yeah, these two have been going at it this set. This is kind of a new storyline that we have to watch going into playoffs is these two, because I feel like they're not going to forget this matchup anytime soon.
Yeah, no, the rivalry is real, I guess. Oh, and Lucid doing the thing we all love from Emojis, keeping the wave. So considerate. I don't think I would ever do that for Matt ADC. I'm a very groupie player.
Oh, that's not nice of you.
I'm sorry. I know. I need to get better at it.
I like doing it on Ymir, personally, and just stopping the waves for 15 years, but regardless. Dual lane still looking tough, but only when people are around. Destroyer really putting in some work on that on her 4-1, but the builds don't really show the same kind of prowess. ZTan keeping up so far.
Yeah, and speaking of builds, I love seeing the Soul Gem this early from PFShawn. I don't think I talked about it in Game 2, but certainly mentioned it a lot in Game 1. Only have to hit 3 abilities instead of 4 to get that heal off. It's going to be great, and especially on a god like Agni, where you just have those ults constantly in rotation, going to be able to proc Soul Gem nearly all the time. So a really, really good item for that mage.
Destroyer sees a whole host of people in the dual lane jungle and just decides to jump under the tower. They know the Anhur is putting in work, and they're going to keep him pressured out and not let him roam around the map. Probably a good call from Harbingers, but things have kind of stalled out a little bit. Not too much action across the map since the Gold Fury was taken.
Yeah, and I think the Harbingers have been answering really well into the Anhur. We've seen repeated ganks here, just because that Anhur has 4 kills. Still only about a half level up on the Jibelung. I think that really speaks to how well Harbingers are playing it on the left side, making sure it doesn't get too far out of control. And the ADCs look like they want to come over, heading back to lane now. It's a pretty big fight in right, and BurpleNurple's the target.
Wow, the double tap did work on Akamaru, though. Thorazma comes out with a powwow go up in time. No kill onto Akamaru. He was able to get out just in the nick of time. I thought for sure he had to ult or die, but he is alive in the back and gets away. Rivers of Rebuke comes out, trying to get Lucent out of there. TragicFox is the next one trying to get out. Everybody's so low, but no kills yet to speak of. Gear Chief, though, diving on TragicFox. She's doing everything she can to get out of there, but she did not see Shawn coming from the side. He gets the kill. Onto TragicFox. Terminator now low under the tower, trying to look for any setup possible. May have just killed Lucid Colors. Purification beats come out, but it won't be enough. Gear Chief gets a kill on the Lucid. Shawn kills Terminator, and another fight goes the way of Harbingers.
And poor Terminator there walled off his own support and then died trying to go back in. Not the greatest play in the world, but it's a very small slip from Small Town Girls. I think considering a pyro is the only answer, definitely worse ways that fight could have gone. The Harbingers, credit to them, they do a really good job kind of stemming the bleeding a little bit and pulling the gold back to within 500 now. Really good fight from the Chaos side team.
Agreed, and more agreed. Harbingers, once again, is showing they cannot be kept down. BurpleNurple goes to the speed buff. Invade Powwow comes out to try to survive it, but BurpleNurple, with the ult of his own, gets away from Akamaru. Put a beat behind that, might be a rap god. Very close for BurpleNurple.
I was not expecting you to say that. Oh, but I do like BurpleNurple using the ult there to disengage instead of just the beads. That extra dash probably makes that Guan Yu not want to rotate over, and it's on a shorter cooldown. I think I talk about that a lot, using the ultimates versus the beads for CC. Always love when people use the ults. The cooldown shorter, why wouldn't you? Oh, as Terminator sends Gear Chief to the grave. Guan Yu dropping to 2 and 4.
Thor saved his beads and used his ultimate, to your credit. You called it, just not in the way you expected, and Terminator solos Gear Chief.
Yeah, you don't need aggressive beads if you aggressive ult, I guess. That kind of can go 2 ways. And unfortunately, Gear Chief, guessing, did not have the ultimate to get out of that one. I assume he would have used it in that case. Oh, but now big fight over the Oracles, and nobody gets it. Oh, they're starting Oni. Ooh, this is This is ambitious. I don't know
It
how
is
much
ambitious.
I like when
Yeah,
PFShawn here.
it's tough. Destroyer does a lot of damage. Will be enough damage. Down to a quarter quickly, though. Small Town secures it, much to the demise of Fisher's callouts, but they are falling low. In response, Akamaru had to back up, though. Could not commit for the kill. Terminator might get caught out, but has the purification beads because he uses ultimate in the soul lane. So he gets away as well. Nice job by Small Town Girls getting the Gold Fury and getting the nice retreat.
Yeah, and I don't think Harbingers really expected to stick onto that. You saw the Agni go up and walk through the red buff, going up and around instead of coming in to try and land the ult to steal. Now the gold difference up to almost 2,000, hitting it now for Small Town Girls. We just talked about Harbingers getting a really good fight, getting the gold lead back to within 500. Just like that, it shoots back up again, and Small Town Girls now on the forefoot. But I think from both teams, we're seeing a real lack of general aggression. It kind of just seems to be whichever team has shown up first, they get the objective.
General aggression certainly has my salute over here on the desk. Gear Chief and Terminator still duking it out. BurpleNurple and Akamaru going for a repeat of earlier's performance. This time the beads are used, and Burple gets away. Terminator going into ultimate to chase down Gear Chief. Turns his attention to Akamaru, but the ultimate goes wide left. Does have the double tap, though. TragicFox actually secures the kill onto Akamaru. Should be able to get away. The pull from Ninjas is there, but she's safe due to the purification beads. Terminator safe as well due to being level 15. And everybody seems to just be able to walk away. ZTan and Destroyer are just destroying each other in dual lane. Game after game, it flips on its head each time. Destroyer has the advantage. This time was critting away at ZTan, but no kill to speak of. Gank in solo lane, though, between Pele and Terminator. Gear Chief, plenty tanky. Double tap, not enough for it to kill. I don't know if it even hit. The knockup was good, though. The basics are even better. Gear Chief falls again, make it 5 deaths. And Small Town Girls finding victories where they can and growing that lead ever so slightly each time.
Yeah, and the scoreboard really doesn't show it, but this Pele has been doing such an incredible job of spreading themselves around the map. We've seen him in every lane, bursting down Akamaru in his own jungle, ganking Gear Chief. The Pele's just everywhere, and I don't think Harbingers have really adapted to it yet. It's unexpected pressure as a blue buff steal. Small Town Girls, they are feeling themselves right now. They are doing great.
You know, they've really taken it to Harbingers this set. Even last game, we saw it too. It wasn't the entire game. The Harbingers were in control. Sean takes a lot of damage from Terminator, but Terminator's getting a lot of damage in response. Has to use that ultimate, but it's not in time. The dot damage from PFShawn was enough to get the kill onto iTerminatorr. And now Small Town Girls finds themselves down 4-5 for the following fight. Akamaru goes into the powwow, finds 2. Purification beads come out. It is BurpleNurple who is pulled in. Remember, he used beads earlier. Flippin' Ninjas gets the KS and gets the kill onto the Pele. Make it a 5v3. Nice Rivers of Rebuke, though, to stop Gear Chief from strolling in on the horse, but it only stopped him for a moment. It's now TragicFox is the victim of a lot of damage. Nice escape. It will be enough. They're full committing for these kills. Lucent will fall next. Looks like TragicFox will get away. If they catch Destroyer out, though, it could be a problem for the On Her. Tier 1 tower falls. And they're going to go for a Tier 2 tower here and bring the fight. TragicFox, she took one step too far. Akamaru gets the kill. Sean deletes Destroyer. Doesn't matter what level you are if you're dead. Terminator teleports in. Capri ultimate down. Terminator into the sky, half health. Will look for the kill onto PFShawn or Akamaru. Who's it going to be? Who's the victim? It's Akamaru! Falls down to Terminator. He gets out of the Capri pole with a nice hammer teleport combined with his purification beads. Gets a good stun on the Gear Chief. Terminator gets away with the kill on Akamaru, slowing down Harbingers for the moment. But overall, great fight and objective secured by Harbingers, taking out the 2 towers.
Yeah, and that was a really, I mean, I don't think questionable engage from Small Town Girls trying to go onto that Fire Giant. I'll say it was ambitious as BurpleNurple takes down 1, getting into the backline early, dropping low, though. Can ZTan find the kill? No, he cannot.
Wow, BurpleNurple putting in work. It was in the background before, now it's in the forefront. Gear Chief does get the kill onto BurpleNurple, though, punishing him for going a little bit too deep. Terminator and Gear Chief throwing hands against a solo lane, and that will stop Harbingers from taking anything else and might actually open up Small Town Girls to get some in response.
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely try to go on to the Pyromancer. I think the biggest thing you want to avoid right now is a fight. You're kind of up and down in levels all over. I think the right thing to do here is slow it a bit down. They've been taking a few rash fights, and to their credit, it's been going their way. Might not be going Lucen's way, though. He's getting looked at, but given Destroyers here, Harbinger is going to back off, and I think very intelligently back off.
But now they're going to pull the Pyromancer. With Destroyer around the corner and the amount of damage he's doing, this is a risky call. And they do think better of it. Now they might look for the steal of the objective they started. Now everybody drops it. That's an Ankh that comes out, it looks like. Big damage from Destroyer. Waves down. Thor comes down. Everybody's still alive for now, but everybody's taking damage. Lucen is so poked out, cannot even full commit to the fight. Gear Chief getting lit up by Tragic, but just not enough damage is there. Shawn is in mid, though, and we've seen Burple take Shawn out a couple of times this game, and quickly. Harbingers does pick up the Pyromancer after a awkward dance at it, and now they might set up for more.
Yeah, and good pyro take there from the Harbingers. They bring it back. The gold lead now on their side. I think for the first time this game, though it could be mistaken. Good job from Burple getting the oracles. They're going to have vision over there. The question is, are they going to step up? ZTan does a lot of damage, but Harbingers, oh, never mind, they aren't going for gold. I thought the call was to. Maybe could have, but I like the pace they're playing it at. Both teams, it's pretty deadlocked right now.
Yeah, this is an incredibly even game, and really that's been the story of this set. Game 1 was the only game where it felt significantly one-sided. Game 2, we know how it started, but we know more how it ended with the pentakill and the nice teamwork by Harbingers. But even at the end, they were slowed down. Small Town almost was able to hold on. So this entire set has been back and forth, and I don't know if Harbingers was expecting to really have it brought to them like that.
They probably weren't, but the thing I wasn't expecting, looking at the damage charts, I love how consistent this is because this says to me, the solo laners, they're the ones engaging for both their teams, but everybody else's contributions are really consistent. Everybody's getting into the fold of it. PFShawn wants all of it.
Terminator, or excuse me, that was Gear Chief teleported in. Could not find anything, though. The one thing Guan Yu lacks is crazy hard CC minus the ultimate, so there was nothing there to set up for his team. Harbingers is all hanging around, though, trying to see if they can make a play happen to set up for the Fire Giant. Small Town Girls, though, they do have the sustain and the team pressure to stay. Fire Giant getting pulled. It's dropping quick. Terminator goes into Thor ultimate. Half health on fire. Gonna hang out as long as he can. Akamaru and Burple are throwing hands in the back. Shawn is a target, but the stun is no good. Terminator's taking a lot of damage, but Destroyer is outputting more than Terminator's taking. The chase is on to Shawn. BurpleNurple's low in the back. The side, though, Shawn is still alive. Destroyer does find Akamaru. Destroyer is picked up by Shawn, though. Got stuck in the blue buff. Terminator down low. Burple down low. Shawn's going for the chase, but the Agni Bombs are no good. Terminator's able to back. BurpleNurple is able to retreat. With only one member down on both sides, this might just be a return to the Fire Giant for Harbingers.
Yeah, and it's... I don't know how much I love this call, because, I mean, Small Town Girls are low on HP if you had to back, but so are Harbingers. This can get really messy if they don't get out of here quick. Pele's coming back and at full health. I think PFShawn and ZTantalus need to get back to base. No sense in losing a worthless life here, and they are. Harbingers, I think, making the smart decision there to get out of the Fire Giant pit. Yeah, I think not much to say about that. Good thought, but probably smart to pull off.
Yeah, it would have been a risky call, and I think we've seen so far Small Town Girls is not afraid to commit for those objective steals. I mean, really, both sides are committed to it. This is an incredible stalemate. It's rare you see a game get this to even 20 minutes and be this even, let alone 25 minutes.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think normally by this point you would think somebody's pulling ahead, and they have been pulling ahead, both teams. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think whichever one is going to be able to translate it, and I think it's going to come down to a point in the game where the back and forth isn't going to matter. It's going to be whichever team gets decided first. I think that's kind of the point we're at right now, given that nobody's in the lead. They're both in terrific spots in this game.
And now Small Town is the ones setting up for the Fire Giant. Harbingers is not as close, but no commitment yet. And by the time they would commit, everybody's there. ZTan is sneaking the Fury on the other side of the map. Terminator might have gotten caught out, but it's just flipping ninjas. We all know that Caprice can't one-shot Thor this late in the game. Harbingers does secure the gold Fury, but now Small Town knows that ZTan isn't there. BurpleNurple's in mid, may look to catch Xbalanque out, but instead finds BurpleNurple and PFShawn and has to, or excuse me, BurpleNurple finds Akamaru and PFShawn has to back up. Fire Giant still not pulled. Dance is still dancing, and ZTan's back, so the small advantage is gone. But BurpleNurple is going to come around the back. Could not find anything yet, though.
Yeah, and
Nobody's there to make a move.
If I'm Small Town Girls, I want to shut down PFShawn in this fight. This Agni this game has been so good about not only spreading the damage out, making sure he's hitting all members, as second on the damage charts. PFShawn has been staying alive. We've seen him time and time again being dove by BurpleNurple and Terminator. So I think definitely a testament to the way this mid laner is playing it. We talk a lot about good mid performances making the games, and both of these mid laners are playing really, really good Smite right now. It's going to be a contested one between them to see who has more impact. Pyromans are called by Harbingers. This could be the go button.
Pyro down to about half, but Harbingers is considering dropping it. They're more so trying to see the response from Small Town, I think. Small Town gets the steal away thanks to the Desert Fury from Destroyer, and that's a signal for Pele to back, but Harbingers may not know, as there's no wards there, and the wave died before Pele backed, and they don't know, so they will not aggress, and everybody backs and everybody resets. So as we tend to see in these challenger games, we're getting one of our now patented Fire Giant dances.
And you know how much we do love them. I think the one that makes this one a little bit more conflicted than the rest, normally 30 minutes in, even if it's a slight lead one team has, when as BurpleNurple wants to get aggressive, can Sean survive?
Ooh, nice timed Aegis.
Wow.
Wow, that Aegis made the world of difference for Sean. He gets the kill onto BurpleNurple. It was close, but he survives. But now Sean does have the back, so it's going to be a 4v4 for this fire that Destroyer decided to pull at first. They do let it go wisely, but that might put everybody out of position. TragicFox took a lot of damage. Gear Chief is charging in, but everybody's just a bit out of his reach. Lucent Colors, though, might be the one caught out. There's the root, but the waves come out. Powwow will be enough to pull Lucent in. That's going to be the death of Lucent Colors. And this all stems from the questionable Fire Giant pull after the death of BurpleNurple.
Yeah, I don't really know what they were thinking. I mean, ZTantalus had rotated over towards the red buff, so maybe they thought they would have a better opening, but I mean, a 4-on-3 is still not a great place to take it. Now, Fire Giant should fall. I think Terminator, standing at the blue buff, I believe, is up in the sky looking for a dunk. Is he going to be able to steal?
It's down to 10%, but it does not come. That is a Fire Giant for Harbingers, and Small Town Girls had no response for it.
Okay, he did use Zeal, I'm guessing very wisely. It knew he wouldn't, or it was going to run out before he could steal, so I think the right move there, dropping back down instead of trying to force a play. Fire Giant, it's not a huge deal right now. Obviously, you'd like to have it, but the map state is dang near even. Small Town Girls can definitely defend here. Flippin' Ninjas gets aggressive, taking absolutely zero damage from the Thor, though.
Yeah, kind of unbothered by the damage, really. TragicFox, about a quarter health, and Akamaru did spot it out and gonna be able to pick up the kill thanks to the bleed. And that's rough for TragicFox. Her positioning wasn't really to blame. It was more so Daji and having that teleport, but probably should have stuck around so long at the tier 1 tower, honestly.
Yeah, a little unlucky there for TragicFox, and great reaction time up into the skies, but Akamaru played that one really smart, knew he didn't have to do a ton of damage. Thor goes into the air, it's going to be the engage from Harbingers. Where can they find it?
Looking for where he can get it. Does not come down on any too meaningful targets and drops very low. Gear Chief doing tons of damage. Phoenix gonna fall. It's a tough time to be a Small Town's Girl supporter right now, as they are definitely on the ropes. Things were even, but things are starting to slowly get out of hand. The bleeding is immense right now for Small Town. Harbingers really just has to find the right moments to keep picking, and so far, they're doing a great job of it.
Yeah, definitely. And now ult advantage, I think, goes over a little bit to Harbingers, to Small Town Girls. They're going to let the tier 2 fall away. I think they still have to defend the Phoenix if Harbingers tries to get aggressive again. If you get 2 Phoenixes down, even if it's not the end of the world to have one lane be behind, you are in a world of hurt for any future engagements. But Harbinger is going to go clean up the neutral farm instead. I think it's a smart move. You don't want to lose Fire Giant off of anyone at this point, with the next one being enhanced. Any advantage you can have is one you need. So I think doing the smart thing here and pulling back, I'd expect they don't get too aggressive until minions are pushed down in all lanes.
They do
Oh, they
have the
might
two
for the treads.
trebuchets.
Oh, and you know I love the trebuchets.
Yeah, and having two, having Fire Giant, things are looking up for Harbingers, but they do have to commit to the fight to make those advantages show up. My question here is, do they have... We saw they had some trouble ending in game 2. Do they have it in them to make a more coordinated attempt to end here in game number 3 to really make it neat and tidy as they finish? Or will it be more like game number 2 where it really took 2.5 to 3 attempts to end the game?
You know, I think just given the team comp on this time, I think they're really confident with Akamaru's Daji. I think Gear Chief has a lot better engage on the Guan Yu. I'd like to see them be a little bit more decisive this game. It's also closer than it was the last game, so I think it's going to be a toss-up. If I'm Harbingers, though, you definitely want to be pushing the pace, and they need to hit the go button a lot earlier when they have the good chance.
I was
Might be
about
right
to
now.
ask you what you think Small Town Girls needs to do to defend, but we may not have time for the question, as Harbingers is looking for any opening to get into the Phoenix. They find it in the form of Gear Chief going in. Rebuke comes up, though. Terminator's in the sky. Who's he going to find this time? Lands down in the back and finds two. One of them is Akamaru, but no damage to speak of. Gear Chief is the only one who took any damage. BurpleNurple, half health. Gear Chief, 10%, has to back up, but with Fire Giant and healing, they'll be back soon, and you can count on it, Small Town Girls, which gives us time for you to answer the question, what can Small Town Girls do to defend? Is what we just saw enough? Do they need to do more? What are you looking for from them?
Uh, no, they definitely need to do more. I think they were not necessarily lucky, but played it well enough to force Harbingers to back off. Fire Giant just wore off, so they're going to be going for the next one. On the flip side, I think we haven't seen enough coordination from Terminator and BurpleNurple. They're both doing incredibly good when they engage. They're finding really solid damage, but they're going on to different targets, so it's pretty easy for Harbinger to just kind of section them off one-on-one. And on the flip side, when Gear Chief goes in, Small Town Girls' backline is getting scattered. So I think a little bit cleaner communication and knowing what they want to do before the team fight happens. I mean, you can kind of tell when Flippin' Ninjas and Gear Chief are about to attack.
It looks like it's going to be all bets are hedged on the EFG, which is a strategy we're familiar with. And yeah, I agree. It's the smart move. It calms things down. It gives you the advantage. What I'm curious, and we see a lot, what will the fighting around it be? How many deaths will we see before the EFG is even taken, and what will that mean for the rest of the game? It looks like Harbingers has the advantage in the setup here. A lot of damage comes out from Sean, doing numbers on the Agni. Root no good, pull good on Lucent. No follow-up to speak of, though. Burple was trying to go around the back, but Gear Chief caught it out and does not let him through. Right Phoenix is back up for Small Town Girls. A small sign of good things. Terminator getting poked out, has to go into the ultimate, gets up into the air. Can he get away, though? TragicFox has to use Purification Beads to get away from Flippin' Ninjas. Terminator falls in the back behind the wall near where Tier 2 used to be. Good damage coming out from Sean onto TragicFox. Powwow comes up, hits TragicFox. Has plenty of CC immunity, though. Lucent Colors, though, does not have these same benefits. Falls to PFShawn. It is now a 5v4, which should probably secure the EFG for Harbingers.
Yeah, I think it does. If I'm Small Town Girls, I would not even try. They're going to, though. Terminator's there without an ult. BurpleNurple has one. Fire Giant at half HP. Terminator is doing a really good job distracting him. Burple might be able to do this.
Has to go in, though, to do it.
He got it!
He got it! Through the walls! BurpleNurple gets the secure of the EFG. Game changer for Small Town Girls with the Phoenix respawn and Terminator alive. Fantastic play from BurpleNurple.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't like it, but they do that great. And I love how Terminator was able to pull Gear Chief away with the teleport leading him through the jungle. could not play that better. Small Town Girls come up with a really, I'm not going to say lucky steal, but I'm going to say fortunate steal. I don't
Yeah.
think it was lucky, but probably should not have gotten it.
Yeah, he kind of just was allowed to free cast over on the
A
side by
little
where
bit.
Pyromancer used to be.
Yeah, but regardless, you gotta be feeling good about that if you're a small town girl, because now I think every advantage so far has been pointing to Harbingers. Granted, it's only been like 10 minutes that they've had an advantage, but still, the presence of the EFG, I think, really gives small town girls a lot of credit going into these next fights. It's gonna be hard for Harbingers to siege. They might just have to kind of lay low for a few minutes, as much as it would pain them to do so.
You know, we thought that Sunday between Harbingers and Sugar Babies would be a sign of potential 1 and 2 seed and playoff finals, but Small Town Girls is really changing that narrative, though. Gotta play it safe. They have gotten caught out. BurpleNurple taking a lot of damage. Good damage return on Akamaru. Powwow hits. Burple has to use the ultimate to get away. That's not how you want to be as Pele right now. Gear Chief almost caught out. The Rivers of Rebuke was just a little too late. That is now 2 ultimates down for Small Town Girls. And now the Fury is being pulled by Harbingers. Gonna get it as well. I don't really like this positioning from Small Town Girls.
I don't either. I think they need to group up. Luckily, though, Harbingers don't look like they want to attack him right now. And I think smart from Small Town Girls not to try and steal that. We've seen him be a little bit cavalier on some of these objectives. So I think definitely a good move that they're backing off. And they're going for the tier 2. Harbingers are backing. This is a good call. If I was them, I do not know if I would push it to the Phoenix. Sure, they have EFG, but the entire enemy team is level 20. They have all the relics. Speaking of Cavalier, they look like they might try it.
This has some feel of game 1 where Small Town was able to run it through, but Harbingers was at a much worse state when they did it the first time, so they might be slightly overconfident. Good damage comes out from PFShawn. No follow-up yet. Gear Chief, though, goes in, looks for Destroyer, but he jumps away. Lucent instead is the one who gets stunned out. Damage is coming out quick. Harbingers might have a good position here. Root on Lucent. Terminator has to go into the sky. Where is Terminator going to go? Lands in Akamaru. Akamaru responds by going into the powwow. Who does he find? Destroyer falling low, quick. Still alive, though, in the back. Terminator almost falls. BurpleNurple goes in the back, though, and finds a double kill in the front. Everybody's still alive, albeit not too healthy. With Fire Giant and Yamoja, that can change quick. Harbingers has PFShawn and Akamaru down. That's been their damage this entire game. This is dangerous for Harbingers. Have to play this perfect. BurpleNurple still alive, above half health. And Small Town Girls is just considering where to push in. Gear Chief comes out with the ult. Big 2-man stun. Rivers of Rebuke is out, but it was kind of negated by the nice stun from Gear Chief. ZTan falls low, but Gear Chief cleans up BurpleNurple. Phoenix does fall. 3v4. Gear Chief still healthy. ZTan backing up, though, was running out of mana on the X-Ball with no Transcendence, but regardless of the lack of mana and the lack of health bars, everybody in Small Town Girls is retreating. So despite how bad it looked, Harbingers is still in this game.
Yeah, and despite tying BurpleNurple kept Small Town Girls in that game, I was going to say, it looked like a really weird team fight at first. It kind of just... It seemed like they didn't have a plan. They just really wanted to kill the Phoenix, which, not the best plan if you're not going to have a specific one. But the Pele on the backline, biding her time, finding the 2 kills, absolutely rescued that attempt for Small Town Girls. And now, Fire Giant is worn off. The next EFG coming up in about 30 seconds. It's going to be another big fight. But this time, I don't think Harbingers are going to be the ones really pushing the ticket. I think this is going to be where we see that patented 10-minute Fire Giant dance.
Yeah, I agree. Unless they get a pick here on Terminator, who went very deep. We'll get away with thanks to the hammer. Pyro is going to fall, but I don't think Harbingers cares about the Pyro anymore. They care about the big guy, the EFG. Scorpion for Scorpion. 1916, 40 minutes, 1-1 set, 7,000 gold difference. This is going to be a close one at the end here.
It definitely is. Small Town Girls, I don't like them ceding pressure on the pit here. If I was them, I would have Terminator back to get up to full health and TP in. They're going to do it. I don't know why they're having Pele push in the middle. The Pele's been attacking from behind, which has worked out really well. But giving that away, Harbingers know that they have all the pressure on this FG pit. Over in left, though, if Small Town Girls stall long enough, they're going to get an advantage. We saw Harbingers not take advantage of having a man missing in game 2. It almost costs them. Small Town Girls can't make the same mistake if Harbinger's back to defend this, and they're going to have to.
Fire minions are about to hit the Titan, but nobody's backing yet from Harbingers. This is not a great spot to be in for the Harbingers. Somebody has to back, surely, or they're going to give up a lot of Titan damage for free. EFG starting to get pulled from Small Town Girls. They're calling the bluff of Harbingers to see how much they're willing to give up. Fire Giant down a half, but so is BurpleNurple on the side. Akamaru's committing for the kill. BurpleNurple's low, has to use the ultimate to get out. Powwow comes up, can't find anybody quite yet. Finds nobody. TragicFox still fairly healthy, took some damage. The only person poked out was BurpleNurple, had to fall back. Sean now below half health. Gear Chief ults in on the horse. Desert Fury to stay up. Terminator up into the sky. Who's he going to find? Looks for Sean, finds ZTan, who dashes out of it. Double root, but it's on Destroyer and Lucent, and nobody was there for follow-up damage. BurpleNurple has been able to come back. Fire minions are still hitting the Titan, and still nobody is backed.
Yeah, to be fair, the Titan's falling slowly, but it is falling. I mean, Small Town Girls, they don't need to get this Fire Giant Akamaru back, so this is their chance. Are they going to take it?
Sean with some good damage on Terminator might slow down that thought process. BurpleNurple, though, still healthy, might look for Sean, as we've seen so many times. Fire Giant being pulled.
Oh.
Terminator falling low. Fire Giant takes out TragicFox. That's not what you want to see on your scoreboard at 42 minutes if you're Small Town Girls. Destroyer falling low. BurpleNurple caught out. Things are not looking pretty right now. But they're away for the moment. Flippin' Ninjas finds Purple on the pole, though. Purification Beads comes out. Root comes out. Sean kills BurpleNurple. Harbingers might just run it down for the win here. They have an opening. Looking for Phoenix, though. Gonna back up for the Fire Giant and play it passive. Their Phoenix is only just now coming alive. They are gonna lose the Phoenix to Fire Minions, as Gear Chief only just now got back to base.
I'm not gonna lie, I really would have liked Harbingers to at least try and siege at Phoenix. Because, I mean, the Honor was the only one at the Phoenix. I think they very easily could have got Phoenix and then ran back to FG.
Oh, Terminator comes down! It's not enough for the steal, though, as the Harbingers get the Fire Giant and they take Terminator with it. It was a gutsy move. It almost worked, but not quite enough. And that's a long respawn timer for the Thor.
Yeah, especially considering didn't get the EFG. Destroyer can get Sean here. It's going to be big, but it can't. This might be the end.
picks up Destroyer. The opening is there for Harbingers. Can they keep the undefeated streak alive? They have to get through Lucent and TragicFox. BurpleNurple's up in 5, and Tragic just killed Sean. That's a huge kill, but Akamaru might find TragicFox. She's avoiding damage for now, but how much can she take? She gets back to the fountain, though, which is huge. Gear Chief has to push the Fire Minions out. Titan is half health for Harbingers. They are looking for the Phoenix in left, though, to try to help out with that pressure. Nice call there. How far will they push it, though, becomes the question.
Yeah, I think it's definitely smart to back up here. The thing I'm looking at, though, I mean, we've talked about it being back and forth, and even more so the case in the end. They, again, have control now. They're going over to Oni's. There is going to be an immense amount of pressure in mid and left. Small Town Girls, they really can't step above their tier 2 tower line, or their Titan's in trouble. Harbingers should know this. They have a few minutes where they can kind of reset. They can buy items. They can grab Scorpions, Pyromancers, buffs, whatever they want. But if they let it go too long and get too comfortable, it could be really bad. But a 3k pot for Agni and Dodgy, both picked up. Harbingers now, it's back over to them with the opportunity to finish it.
I was just about to point out those 3k pots. There is going to be some damage coming out from Harbingers. Not that there hasn't already. I mean, 51k player damage for Sean on the Agni, 33k for the X-Ball, 28k for the Dodge, and we finally start to see the Small Town Girls show up after that. It has been a damage-filled game, 22-17, 45 minutes. And it looks like Harbingers might group up for a potential end call here. They have to get picks, though, to make it happen. Sean is lagging a bit behind. Is Harbingers going to sneak for the right side Phoenix? Sean might get caught out if they do this. He has to play it safe. He does get lucky. Small Town's backing to defend the right side Phoenix. Harbingers is running it down, but Sean's still backed by tier 2
Ooh,
in
this
mid.
is
He needs to get there quick. They do need everybody here for the siege, despite the damage. He's going to push up the mid lane, which is smart, especially considering Small Town Girls didn't push the issue there. But now there's no Phoenixes up. Oni waves coming in, fire waves coming in. This is tough for anybody.
It is, and even if they don't go for the Titan right now, you do not leave that Phoenix line if you're Harbingers for at least another minute and a half. Small Town Girls are gonna slip up at some point if they keep the pressure on.
Purification Beats comes out from BurpleNurple, or excuse me, that was the Magi's robe. This time I was the one who's baited. Up into the air goes Terminator, trying to see if he can make a play happen, but he's got to find the perfect landing for it to be worth it. He does not find it, comes down by BurpleNurple to the left. Losing colors, gets caught out with a root, gets pulled in, falling low. Akamaru gets the kill. Sean kills BurpleNurple. That's probably going to spell the end for Small Town Girls. Undefeated up until this point, it took a lot. It took losing game 1. It took a pentakill in game 2. But game 3, it took teamwork. Harbingers takes the set.
And that is one of the most competitive sets we've seen, I think we will see from this entire division for the season. That is a really, really not clean win, but that is a feel-good win if you're Harbingers. I know we talked about a lot after game 1, seeing them bounce back, them not being behind all season. If you're a Harbinger, it does feel extremely good to get that win. And you know, it's in comms. It's got to be a good vibe all around, you would hope. On the flip side, though, for Small Town Girls, that's a tough loss to take, but they played really, really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think for Small Town Girls, I think the big thing to look at is you took the undefeated challenger team, the number 1 seed currently, to their limit. And that's a great sign of things to come going to the playoffs. I suspect we might see these two face each other again in the playoffs.
I definitely wouldn't be surprised. And I think even though it's a loss, there is a lot to build on there from the Small Town Girls. I think they played very well. I think maybe just a little bit of positioning could have been the downfall in a few of those fights, but they're all small things. And we say it before, or we've said it before, the small issues are really easy to be ironed out. If you work at them, they go away. This team can definitely be strong in the future, but the team that's strong right now, Harbingers, they finally get the win. And PFShawn, 10 and 3, almost 60k damage. What a game from the mid laner.
Yeah, I think he definitely took. Last game it was ZTan, but this game, Sean put Harbingers on his back damage-wise and brought them to the promised land. But with that, we are going to leave you here after a fantastic back-and-forth 3-game set between the Harbingers and the Small Town Girls on the Smite Draft League. If you like what you saw, you can follow the YouTube, you can go to Twitch, you can join the Discord, get ready for next season, get ready for playoffs, get ready for everything that we're bringing your way. You can also find all-star voting if you want to vote for ZTan, who just got a pentakill. If you want to vote for Sean, if you want to vote for Terminator or BurpleNurple, go in the Discord for that all-star voting. I have been Anthony Malum. He was KingFsher. We had iNooblet on production, and we'll see you next time on the Smite Draft League.